live. So, three, two, one. Welcome to the Hunters Hub, the video game podcast born of the Monster Hunter community. This is your host, Fortuan, joined by co-host Ace. Howdy doody.
Doing good. Just recently got the baby to sleep, so
Yeah,
we'll see whether or not he wants to make a audio appearance on the podcast later. We'll see.
yeah. Babies are. It could be asleep the whole time, or could be a nightmare. It's a flip of a baby coin.
Yeah, I mean, he makes up for it for being exceptionally cute.
That's what I said. Like, if there wasn't an instinct to not kill your kids, I don't think a lot of kids would survive.
Jeez.
Not saying that you would. I wouldn't either. But I'm telling you, they do get annoying at times. They do.
I mean, there's dark conversations to go to from there, but I think we'll keep away from that.
Give it 3 weeks. We'll have an in depth one.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Oh my god.
And welcome Morg. How you doing?
I'm exhausted. I don't know how to describe it. It was really weird. I had a good sleep. Then I woke up this morning, and then girlfriend went to work for her 9 o'clock shift. Then I fell asleep again. Woke up at 5. I don't know. Just kind of recovering.
Gotcha.
Long shifts, long days at work. But hey, I'm paying the bills. I'm happy.
It is a good place to be. Paying the bills at least. Not maybe just working and sleeping, but that's always a rough one. I remember
A little, yeah.
when I was working.
Yeah, a little room for video games, but otherwise, mostly work.
So for the audience, we don't have Sasha tonight. She had a medical family emergency. Thankfully, everything seems to be on the mend and okay.
Mm-hmm.
They got some things figured out they needed to, and I think everyone's back home safely at this point. We haven't heard. We know they're safe. I don't know if they're back home yet. They should have been. Last we heard.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a pretty serious issue. So Sasha's going to take a break. And then with her, it was I won't get into the details. That's for her to discuss. But with another family emergency just a few weeks before, she's quite stressed. So she's taking tonight off.
Yeah.
So instead of doing the quiz like we were going to do, which I stopped writing questions for the quiz pretty soon after we heard that, because I was like, okay, we're obviously not doing the quiz this week if that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Now I did get more done. So I think I said I have 16 questions left, which is about a little over halfway through. So
That's pretty good.
and I will say this, just the split of games is very different than what I expected it to be this time. Without giving any information, like the roles I got were like, oh, I did not expect to have to talk about this game. So
This will be fun.
yeah, but we'll save that for next week. So this week we are going to talk about more like what we've been playing lately, sort of do like a catch up, and then also a little more what we're excited for, because the holiday season's coming up and a lot of games are dropping. A lot of games are coming out soon. Like I think Ragnarok is next week, if I'm not mistaken. Like stuff like that. Like I haven't really been on top of it, but there's a lot of games coming out for the holiday season. Including Pokemon, which my girls are super excited about. That's in 2 weeks from yesterday. I know that one because I have to remind them all the time. We have some card game stuff coming out that I'm interested in and looking forward to. And yeah, we got a lot going on. So Morg, why don't you lead us off? Where are we starting tonight?
Ooh, do we want to just jump right into Pokemon right now? Because
Sure.
there's a couple of...
I've got Pokemon stuff to talk about too.
Well, I mean, I've got a couple of ROM hacks that just kind of caught my attention that I hadn't even heard about until I actually took a look. One of them, I don't know. I mean, okay, fine, we'll talk about it. Touhoumon purple version. It is really weird. If you take it's Pokemon Emerald, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been like heavily modded in such a way where you get 16 different types. They've substituted some out for other ones. For example, they've changed grass into like the nature type. They've changed poison into miasma. They've eliminated the fighting type altogether. They put in the beast type. They've got the faith type, the reason type, dream type, and then they've also changed the alignment, like the interactions between certain types. Like for example, back then, well, even like in conventional Pokemon, Ghost type is weak to Dark type.
Yes.
In this game, Dark type doesn't do any damage to Ghost type. Ghost type is completely immune to Dark type, so it completely throws everything that I know of Pokemon out the window, and all of the
Interesting.
characters are little chibi dolls, and I don't know based off of their name or their sprites what their types are. So I'm just kind of like just throwing everything, including the kitchen sink, at whatever it is that comes my way until I figure out like what their types are. Oh my god, it's a ridiculous game. It's fun, but oh my god, is it ridiculous? They've even like added and changed around a whole bunch of attacks and moves and stuff like that. Like they have like moves like Decision, which is apparently a faith type move that never misses. They've got what is it? Flash Steel, which is like a priority based 40 damage steel type move that is like a cutting slash that gets priority, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like it's a weird game. Like it's pretty fun, but like if you're a Pokemon veteran and then you jump into this and you have no idea what goes on in like the Toho verse, yeah, it can be pretty tricky. So yeah, I think I've gotten past the second gym, and I've beaten Archie for the first time, just delivering like the Devon goods to like that one Captain Stern, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to get to Watson. So, yeah, and yeah, oh yeah. Also, the gym leaders have completely different types as well. Like Roxanne is like beast centric, and then Brawly was dream type, and I don't know what to say other than that. Like, yeah, the strategies for being able to beat these guys is completely different.
Right.
Because, yeah, like all the creatures that you're able to capture, which are referred to as puppets, you get different types. Like you get different types that you can actually catch. They have like different move pools, and their types have different interactions with other types that are completely different from what conventional Pokemon is. So it is essentially Pokemon, but everything's completely turned on its head, and like a lot of like the fundamentals of the mechanics are the same, but everything that you would know of conventional for a Gen 3 game, like if you were to pick up Pokemon Emerald, this game's completely different from that. You have to have a completely different approach to it. You have to like almost have to study like what everything is and like what everything can do, and like
you're
what your best
relearning.
options are for a team.
You're
God.
untraining your Pokemon brain to learn a new system.
Yeah, I have to empty out the cup and I have to fill it back up with a whole bunch of Toho shit. Just try and get through this game. It is so hard. And then, yeah, outside of Touhoumon Purple version, there's a new ROM hack that actually I was informed of, and it is called, I think it is called Pokemon Vintage White, and it is so strange. It's
we're
Pokemon
talking
White.
Yeah, so yeah, I was gonna say black and white, so white. So that's Gen 5.
But the difference is,
what's Gen 4's colors? Is that Ruby and Sapphire?
Gen 4 is a Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum.
That's right.
So with Vintage White, this game is really weird because it has no Pokemon past Gen 3. None at all. And the idea that what they've done is in order to be able to make up for the fact that there's a lack of like Pokemon from Gen 4 and Gen 5, is that they've taken all of the Pokemon from Gens 1 and 3, and they've given them different stat totals. Like, so their base stats are changed a little bit.
Okay.
Their typing has also changed, so they're completely different. So, for example, if you get a Sceptile, it could have, it has Grass and Dragon element, and it has a new ability called Adaptability on it, and it comes with moves like Dual Chop and stuff like that. So it's very different. Pidgeot is a electric and flying type with no guard, and it has moves like Thunder and Hurricane and all these other moves that, you know, and it's crazy. Like, it's really crazy. What I found out in that game, based off of
Wow.
a Nuzlocke that a guy did, was he found out that Electrode is probably the most broken Pokemon in the game because it has its 140 base speed, but what they did was they upped his attack and special attack to 150 respectively for each. And it's a steel type on top of being electric, and it has lightning rod. So it's overtuned. Like, it's so broken. Like, it literally just sweeps everything that it can hit for super effective damage from steel and electric type moves. Like, it'll just sweep everything. It's like Deoxys attack. That's how good it is. But like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's crazy.
I always remember
Mhm.
Electrode being sort of like a garbage tier Pokemon from the start.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, he's typically very underwhelming. Kingler becomes a water and steel type, so like you get to have a lot of fun with that too. Like, I don't know, like I don't know how in depth this game goes as far as like all the different changes that they have and how amazing it can be, but Clay has like a revamped team. Like all the gym leaders have revamped teams, completely changed. Like, I think Clay's ace is a Regirock. Yeah, like there's a whole bunch of crazy stuff that go on in that game, and it looks phenomenal. Like, I can't wait to download this game and play it, because yeah, yeah, it's gonna be great. Like, I rarely delve into Gen 5 these days anymore. I love it, but I was always more of like Black and White 2 kind of a person. I never really played traditional Black and White, but yeah,
I played both.
I think that
But I will say Black and White is what started Bug Trainer Cham. That is the title where I started with Pokemon Black, and that is where I started playing Bug type only and trading away my starters for Bug types. Like, just to make the game more challenging. And I understand people do the Nuzlocke to make it more challenging, but for me, I don't like to have to put a bunch of stupid rules on myself, so I'm just like gonna use stupid Pokemon and try to beat it. Now, I will say, leading into that, we got Scarlet and Violet coming out in 2 weeks. And like I said, my girls are super excited for it. I'm gonna be playing vanilla, and this is probably the first time in a long time that I'm gonna be sticking with a starter. Like, I'm gonna be getting a starter and using a starter, and not like Cricketot like I did with Diamond Remake.
Oh my god. I don't know how you made it through with just Cricketot.
It took me
my
6
god.
hours to beat the first gym. I'm not joking. I had to have 4 Crickettoons, and I had to rely on crits to even hurt the first gym. Like, it was a disaster. Like,
Oh dear lord.
I do not know how I made
Does
it.
not sound fun.
It was not.
A rock type gym right off the bat.
Yeah. So no, I'm gonna be sticking with Fuecoco, so the fire type right off the bat for Scarlet and Violet. I'm super excited for Scarlet and Violet, not only because of its Arceus like qualities that is there, because Arceus, like I said, really revitalized the series for me. The only thing I didn't like about Arceus is its music. If you've played Arceus and you've been in the town for any amount of time, I swear I was going to claw my ears off listening to that town theme. It was so repetitive. It's like, literally, it feels like 4 bars of music that just repeats. So it's...
Feels like Minecraft music almost. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, well, Minecraft has more bars. I was playing Minecraft today. It has more bars of music than this does. Like,
Wow.
speaking of which, I'll get into it later, but Minecraft Dungeons, I did not expect. Saw it,
Mm.
didn't expect the quality there. But anyways, back to Pokemon. So Scarlet and Violet is something I'm looking forward to. But I've been playing the card game a lot, and I've talked about this a little bit. So I built my first quote unquote competitive deck. It's not going to be like competitive, like go to tournaments quality, but it does incorporate a meta. I talked about this Chromorant. So I have built the deck. I have played with the deck, and it performs rather well. And all it does is it centers around basically two Pokemon, which is my Aerodactyl V-Star and my Chromorant. And what it is, in the beginning of the game, I am pitching all the cards I can into the Lost Zone, which means I can never see them. Right? I'm just trashing cards. They don't even go to the They don't even go to the graveyard. Like I can't even do shenanigans. They're gone forever. But once I get 4 in, Chromorant comes out and spitting for 120 damage every turn, and I'm building up a bench to get out Aerodactyl V. Now I thought Aerodactyl V was going to be my opener. And then with Chromorant being sort of being like a closer if Aerodactyl V-Star gets knocked out. Turns out Aerodactyl V-Star is the heavy hitter, which I knew he would be. He's 240 damage, but with some choice belts, he's 270 damage. And
Whoa!
he can copy other things' abilities. So with Ancient Power, so I turn them off. I turn off their abilities. So if they have some nasty stuff, I'm just like, for one colorless energy, I'm just like, no, that's gone. Bye-bye. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I turn off their
Wow.
powers. Now it wastes a turn to do that, but then again, I stopped their whole turn usually. So my buddy Jared and I were playing quite a bit, sort of testing out my deck for the first time because I got everything I needed. And we had a funny scenario. He's playing his Zora Max, like the whatever the wolf is, the weird lycanthrope like wolf thing. It's got a lot of flow.
Oh, Zoroark,
Yeah, Zoroark. So he's got a Zoroark deck that does damage equal to 50 times the amount of Pokemon damaged on his bench. So
Wow.
he can do and if he's damaged and the bench, so it's 300 damage, right? And that'll knock out most Pokemon, right? So I had this
ridiculous.
brilliant idea. So like I said, I was centering around Aerodactyl V. Aerodactyl V can't knock out the Zoroark right away. Just can't. So I was like, what do I do? So I did not evolve him. I was just Aerodactyl V. I didn't do the V-Star. The Aerodactyl V does 120 damage and says discard an energy attached to this Pokemon. Well, attached to the opponent's Pokemon. Right?
Oh,
So I was
going.
discarding his energy so he couldn't attack. And the problem is, he whittled his deck down so much to search out all of his tools, he ended up pitching a lot of his energy to do that. So I hit him, he had no energy, and he had no way to switch because he had no energy. So it was like, do I hit him? No. I sit here and I wait till he draws out because I have more cards than him.
Mhm.
So I draw a card and pass. And then he tries to play.
You milled him out.
I milled him out. I did not expect that the unevolved Aerodactyl form, so just Aerodactyl V, had the ability to just remove energy from opponents. And there's something that me coming from like trading card games, coming from a standpoint of Magic, which I know you're familiar more with, Ace, and more you have some experience in that as well. Mana or your energy or whatever your resource is extremely important, right? Like it is the baseline price of any Magic deck is how good is your mana base, how good is your ability to sling spells and that kind of stuff. Pokemon runs in a 60 card deck. Think of this. How many lands in a 60 card deck of Magic do you run?
Probably a little, like somewhere between like 20 and 30. 20 on the low end, maybe 30 on the high end.
I would say
24 to 25 is good.
The average I hear is 24 to 26 from what I gather from Chance. Do you know how much energy you run in a Pokemon deck?
Oh, I couldn't imagine. Like what?
12 is
10?
12 is
15?
high. 12 is high.
Whoa!
I have 10, I think, or 8. So like I think I have 10 because I have 6 fighting energy and I have 4 colorless energy that are like special energies. That's it. And some people even run lower because you have so much energy search and energy, like so much about it is filtering out cards and searching and filtering and abilities that pull energy on and stuff. So like
Mm.
one of my cards that I have is if I have 7 or more in the lost zone, I go search out 2 energy from the deck and attach them to a Pokemon. Now, when you get 1 attachment per turn, this circumvents it. I can put 3 energy on a Pokemon in a turn with this. And that's enough for any one of my Pokemon to do anything. Oh, and also I didn't tell you there's a subplot to this whole milling them out. So, there's that weird barnacle Pokemon that's a fighting type that like turns into this weird like
Oh
rock.
yeah, yeah. I know which one. Yeah, it's like got
Yeah.
like 2 heads almost.
Yeah, he's a beefy one in the deck. He doesn't attack. He's got this special ability that says when they knock out your Pokemon and they go to take prizes, the prizes don't go to their hand, they go to their lost zone instead. So they don't get their prizes. So
That is so mean.
so I keep him on the bench. So I basically milled him out and milled away because of his prizes. Any sort of way he got to come back. I think we actually did get a few energy out of his prizes. So it was it was a fun deck to play. I did not expect to do so well with my first ever Pokemon deck that hasn't been since I played back in grade school. Like
Mm-hmm.
like we're talking I went to a Pokemon tournament when I was in 5th grade and this was like generation release 1 of Pokemon card game. Like I
Mm-hmm.
went in there with a Venusaur deck and everyone was running Charizard decks. Like
Ooh, not good matchup.
I liked Venusaur. What can I say? Like
Venusaur is the best starter. It is. Like, first off, the first 2 gyms, you automatically just get to just sweep them with
mhm.
your Bulbasaur. It learns a whole bunch of versatile moves. Like, for example, it's got all the different powders. It's got Leech Seed. It's got access to draining moves. If you wanted to be really scummy, like how I am sometimes, you can have a Subseed protect wall Venusaur that just stalls out the opponent. Um, yeah, and like eventually at some point, like you will have access to like fire and water types. Like you can just go and buy the Magikarp for like 500, and then you get like a level 20 Gyarados. Like by the time that you get to Misty, um,
Mhm.
and then you get the Lapras in the Silphco anyway. So I mean, like you're not short for water types. Honestly, yeah, getting a water type is probably the worst way to play most games because you have access to tons of water types in the game. Fire type is probably usually a better option in most cases because fire types are usually very rare, but they're also very powerful. But for a game like
You know
Pokemon Red, Blue, or Yellow, it's not a good option.
you know what they did in the remakes?
Are we talking like Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu?
Yes, and even Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Uh,
Charmander learns Metal Claw before you reach the first gym. So Charmander
that is pretty good.
has a steel move to hit the rock gym first out the gate. They started doing that. So Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, they incorporated double kick. Both of them get double kick, which is a fighting move, which is good against rock. So yeah, they had a lot going on with that. So like they sort of changed it up so that starters always have some way to get through the first gym, which is why
Mhm.
Kricketot was a bad idea in Shining Diamond,
Yeah.
Brilliant Diamond.
If
whatever
only he
it
had
was.
Mega Drain.
Yeah, he does later on. Not where I was at, I think.
No, not right at the very beginning. Not like level 10 or anything like that. Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Yep.
So for Pokemon stuff, I've been pretty excited about Scarlet and Violet and the card game stuff. There's a new release. There's a whole new set of the card game coming out next week too. So like it is the Scarlet and Violet set. So I'm going to have Pokemon cards from Scarlet and Violet before I see the game. So cuz I'm getting a box of it. So I'll be like, "Ooh, spoilers. You want to see them more?" Like
I love spoilers.
Maybe. But yeah, so I plan on doing some of that. Speaking about card game stuff, at the same day is a Flesh and Blood release, the latest set. So I'm also looking to, and it's a supplementary set, which means it's not like, hey, here's the theme of the set. It means like, here's all the cards to make your current decks better. So there's a bunch of really cool stuff coming out. There's a sword that is really good for. I play Warriors and I play Rangers, and there's a sword coming out for Warriors that gives them a much needed thing against arcane damage. And arcane, think of it like burn damage in Magic. It's unblockable at your face damage, right? This thing says, if I hit, I get a token that says I get to prevent 1 arcane damage once. It destroys the token, but every time I hit, I get to prevent 1 arcane when I had no way to prevent arcane before. And if you
That's pretty good.
And if you do end up subbing in something to prevent arcane, you have to pay for it. So you have to pay a card worth of price to play it. This says if I hit, I get to prevent damage. So
I'm gonna have to take a look at this game because I think this might be a fun competitive game that I might want to get into. Hell, I might even get some of my roommates in on it because I know that
it's a very head-to-head game. It's very one-on-one head-to-head. Like it's very back and forth too, because every card is usually every card is everything. Every card is an attack, a defense, and a resource, and you got to decide which one of those things that card's going to be.
I like that. I like the sound of that. At least it gives you options on what it is that you need to play in the situation that you're in. So that's actually, I like that. I like that a lot because then you don't get you don't suffer from mana drought. You don't get mana locked.
The biggest comparison is this is a card game. So Magic, you build up your board state. This is a game where you start at your best board state and you're whittled down also.
Ooh. Now that changes things. That's fun.
Yeah. Because you have equipment and all that equipment can get used or destroyed or whatever. I'll do a big Flesh and Blood thing one day. I'm not as into it as I was because the Pokemon's been drawing me away, actually. I've been playing more Pokemon than Flesh and Blood. Problem is the Flesh and Blood community where I'm at really just died. No one kept showing up. In the struggle of us, Jared and I trying to run a league. Everything all right there, Ace?
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I do have to go to the bathroom, so
okay.
I'll be back.
Yep. Well, you could do that thing.
So, in the sort of situation, we were trying to run this league and there was a competing store that did some underhanded things to undercut us. They've eventually won and now no one still plays there. So felt pretty cheap. So we kind of moved on to Pokemon. Now I still have the cards and I'm still keeping up to date with my decks, but we haven't been playing. We've been playing Pokemon. So
if it gets big enough, I mean, like I could assume that. Well, I don't know if this could be a thing that they might go about doing. Like if they wanted to take this as sort of like a tactical marketing approach, but they could probably like do something like Magic the Gathering Arena, where they have like an online competitive scene where where people can go on and then they can like build their decks and stuff like that, like a digital deck, and then just play.
There are tools or whatever. For that. There are tools for that, but the game is designed to be face to face a lot of the time. That's why it's actually called Flesh and Blood, because they want you to be there.
Because you're playing in the flesh.
Yes. So
okay, I like that.
So here's so like they released 2019, November 2019. So we're coming up on 3 years of them being. I think we are at 3 years of them being released. And
Okay.
here's the problem though. November
Mm-hmm.
2019, because what happened in January? COVID.
Yeah, that was not exactly the most ideal time for them.
But what ended up being is they are driving on something that Magic lost was which was that competitive in-person community. That's the kind of niche that they're going for. So they do have online stuff, but they're not as well supported as just the in-person tournament stuff. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I jumped in really hard to begin with, so I know what's going on, but I'm not going to, to get a local, like, I have a community of people on different Discords that I could play with if I was really stretching to play, but I'm not really. Like, I'm okay just playing in person every once in a while. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I assume Ace is trying to fix some things.
I'm assuming that he's probably fixed it. Ace, are you still with us?
Oh,
Uh-oh. I think
maybe
there might be
his
some audio issues.
maybe his
Audio issues?
his
No
earbuds
audio issues?
was just not working out for him. So
Maybe, maybe.
anyways, yeah. So
Yes.
that's the card game stuff. I'm excited to see what comes out in the new Pokemon set because that's going to feed directly into Scarlet and Violet. Um,
If it's got to be better than what's coming out with Magic the Gathering. I mean, they do have the Brothers War, which is
mhm.
not bad, but like they were trying to come out with like what was it, the stickers? Ooh, that was a really
Mm-hmm.
bad mechanic idea. Like you've heard about the stickers
I
from Magic
have.
the Gathering, right? Uh,
Yeah, putting
that's
stickers on
I
cards. Yeah.
I say no, no. I think that cards are just
Well,
fine without stickers.
well, as people were pointing out, you should have sleeves on your cards. So it'd
Mm-hmm.
technically be putting them on the sleeves, which
No, I
I
understand.
still don't necessarily agree with. I'd say they could have just made like paper tokens or something like that.
Yep.
Yes, I mean like a token, like a secondary token system would have been really cool. Then that way you could like, well, I think maybe like the whole idea of like counters, like for example having death touch counters or flying counters or whatever, having that kind of counter system was probably like a prelude to the sticker system, and it wasn't a bad system. It was kind of a weird one because I mean
Mm-hmm.
you already had cards that had abilities that were like, well, if this card and this card are paired, then they'll have this ability, or if they have a +1/+1 counter on them, they'll get this ability because of this card, and blah 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 blah. Like the counter system is very weird, and then like slapping stickers on your cards just
Yeah.
it kind of feels like it cheapens things a bit. Like it doesn't feel fun even. Like I'm not really for the stickers.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, I mean, throwback option. I'd say stickers are better than tearing your card in half.
It's true.
Tearing your card in half.
Mm-hmm. Anti cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't part of Black Lotus that you're supposed to tear it in half or something like that?
Uh,
Or was that Mox Lotus
uh,
or something? I know there was like one card,
Yeah. There's
one
a
Black
card.
Lotus.
notorious card that you were supposed to tear in half after you use it.
I don't think it was Black Lotus because Black Lotus is like worth like tens of thousands of dollars on the market.
Yeah, it's not Black
So,
Lotus, but there you are right. There are things you used to have to gamble cards. You used to have to ante cards. Like
mm-hmm.
that's why that stuff is never being printed again and is banned and all sorts of stuff because they don't want you gambling priceless cards. They don't want you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and yes, Ace, I do believe there are some cards that say tear me in half and yada yada. There's some joke cards that say that too, but don't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's one that says go find anything and throw it on the table and whatever points at this card and like it's just like there's some crazy but those aren't legally played. Those are white bordered or whatever bordered they are that you're not supposed
Mm-hmm.
to play. Um Now they have an acorn symbol is the new thing. If you can't play them, because it's for the squirrels.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Um,
There should be like cards that have like spin the bottle game as like part of the mechanics for the card game. And then like just
I
all
mean,
the
the
cards
D
just
and D
flying
sets
everywhere.
have 20s. Like you roll a D20 and there's a certain result based on a 20 or a 19 through whatever, or you get X amount of tokens equal to the D20 roll, that kind of thing.
I
Or
mean, like there's what is it? There's also like a very niche mechanics, like yeah, going into the dungeon and then going on like a dungeon quest in the card game, and then there's like what is it? The monarchy system, where like if you're the monarch
yep.
of the game, whatever, you get like special perks and stuff like that. But I mean, like if you're the only one who's playing with that mechanic at a
Oh,
commander game,
so there's a Transformers set coming out. There's like a normal set, but there's the extra
yes,
Transformers cards. And the only reason why I mentioned I'm not a fan of Magic, so I'm not following it. But Chauncey is obviously. So I
I
listen.
remember this. Yeah.
I listened to
Mm-hmm.
him talk about it and talk to him about it, and he is so excited because Starscream is a Monarch card, and it gives someone else the Monarch because Starscream can never be the Monarch. He has to give the
Yeah, that's
Monarch.
true.
So I was like, perfect flavor. Starscream gives
That
someone
is.
else the Monarch. I love it.
That would be really good for like doubles battles. For like if it's
Yes.
like a 2v2, that would be a phenomenal card for that. Oh my god. And then there was yeah, I think my friend Ian, he's got well, he's rooming with us.
Mhm.
He's got Warhammer 40K. I think he's got a Necron deck,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's really weird.
Those just released. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He was playing Necrons in Commander, and it was actually pretty solid. Like after I got most of my deck milled by Holly, who was playing, I think it was a blue red, basically control deck, where she was just milling us all out. And he had a card that just made it so that my entire graveyard was exiled, and I was like, well, this is great because I'm running a Sultai deck that uses the graveyard as like my secondary hand, and you just completely destroyed all access to it. He's like, exile graveyard. I'm gonna pick you, Morgan, and I'm like, no. And he's like, how many artifacts do you have in your deck? And I'm like, and I'm like, something like 7 or 8 or whatever. And he's like, haha. I get bonuses for the fact that I just sent all those artifact cards into exile, and I'm like, that's the reason why you destroyed my deck. But then, yeah, I think after that night, yeah, everybody was like helping me to like rebuild my deck, so in that way I had a proper Sultai infection deck. And well, it went from Sultai to I think it was a 4-color witch deck, which is really fun, especially with Atraxa, the Praetor's Voice. Her abilities are Vigilance, Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink. She's a 4-mana card, so she's got one of everything. She's got black, white, blue, and green. And then at the end of your at the beginning of your end step, you proliferate. So you can use her to buff all of your creatures if they've got +1/+1 counters. You can reduce the power of all your enemies' creatures if they've got -1/-1 counters. You can add poison counters onto people who already have poison counters. So if you've got the Ichor Rats in play, which make it so that everybody has a poison counter as soon as it enters the battlefield. And then I had cards like the Strionic Resonator, which makes it so that whenever like you can like pay 2 and then tap it, and then triggered abilities activate
Again.
a second time. So whenever there is an ability that says when, whenever, or at, you get to double the effects of that ability. And then there's like a whole bunch of other cards like Inexorable Tide, like that makes it so that whenever you cast a spell, you proliferate. So if you have a whole bunch of cheap cards and everybody's got a bunch of poison counters, you can just play those cards. But what you can also do is that you can tap the Strionic Resonator, and then you can get the additional effects of proliferation from Inexorable Tide added onto that. And if you keep Atraxa alive at the same time, you get to proliferate at the beginning of your end step. But if you've also got another card called Helm of the Host, which if you can equip it onto Atraxa, you get to create at the beginning of your upkeep a copy of the card of any creature, including legendary creatures that have Helm of the Host equipped with it. And then there's like what is it? I've got a bunch of like these weird cards. Like there's a there's a creature card that allows you to be able to have it enter in as a copy of a creature that you already have in play as a copy of that with a +1/+1 counter, or as a loyalty counter if it's a planeswalker and it's not considered legendary. And then there was a
So you're
I
just
think it's a
basically
sorcery.
doubling up on all your proliferate.
Yeah, I'm doubling up on Atraxas. So if I have like a whole bunch of Atraxas onto the field at the beginning of my end step, I just get to proliferate a whole bunch of times, which makes it. Yeah, everybody's like always so worried. They're like, "Oh, what are we gonna do about the one?" And I'm like, "Oh, yes, there is the one, but what are you gonna do about the second and the third ones?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Slam, slam, slam!" And then they're like looking at it, and there's like 3 of them, and they're like, "Oh no! We're going to die!" And I'm like, "Yes, you are."
Yeah, I will say,
Uh,
if you are looking into Flesh and Blood alternatively, do keep in mind it is a head-to-head game. You're not going to have fun commander stuff like that where you have like 4 people playing. It's just
yeah,
it's meant to be head-to-head. So
yeah.
keep that in
Well, I
mind.
mean, yeah. Yeah, I'll keep it. You know what? I'll probably ask Ian about it because I mean, like, he spends a lot of his time in Hobbs Hobbies. Like, he's a DM for Dungeons and Dragons. He has
Mhm.
a Starfinder campaign that he's running. He's also in a I can't remember what the name of the game was, but it's basically it's not Warhammer RPG, like it's kind of themed slightly like that, but it has different mechanics where it's based off of percentiles.
Okay.
He also plays Magic the Gathering. um oh, what else does he do? Yeah, he does a number of things, but I mean, like, yeah, if I could get him into Flesh and Blood, maybe we can do that together, and then that could be a lot of fun. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So
so yeah, I'll ask him, see how he feels.
Ace, what have you been doing other than being a dad?
Um, well, Jack has been getting into Subnautica, so by
Okay.
extension, I've been getting back into Subnautica.
Okay.
We were sort of, in a sense, co-oping it and switching back and forth, and then we sort of lost our progress because the game crashed.
That's rough.
So I went and basically got us back to where we were this weekend. So, and I also farmed up a bunch of materials just to set him up for success and made him like a really basic base before he goes out and discovers all the other stuff to like make an actual base.
Okay.
So we'll see if he wants to get back into that tomorrow, just because I got him like a bunch of food and water, a bunch of materials for crafting, a bunch of like components
Mm-hmm.
for like crafting tech and certain like base parts and rooms and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
and then I also just
Like
today started a new playthrough of Subnautica Below Zero as well. So I'm fully
I see them.
re-immersing myself in that
I see them on
universe.
sale on the eShop constantly. Like they are constantly on sale. I don't want to get them because I don't like survival games, but
I love that series. Like, but yeah, I've had issues with Subnautica, like where sometimes the environments don't load in properly, and so there will be like these invisible cliff sides that I keep bashing my vehicles into, or like I'll get trapped in like zones that I can't see. It's
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, it happens. I mean, in one of my previous, I think it was my playthrough on PlayStation, that made me stop playing for a while. I had like just got the prawn suit, and I stocked up like a bunch of ammo for the torpedo extension and the drill, and then I was like, I'm gonna go and kill a Reaper Leviathan, and the Reaper Leviathan punched me through the floor, and I was just falling forever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
eventually the pressure just destroyed my prawn suit that I just got, and then I was just in a black abyss of nothing.
That's great.
And
That's
That's
great.
awful.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
Um,
was like, I don't know, several thousand meters below the surface. So
Mhm.
like, even if I like, I mean, I had all the necessary tech for like exploring and stuff like that. Like I had the Sea Glide and stuff. It was too late. There was nothing I could do. So I just like
Got ya.
paused the game and like,
oh,
actually I think I
uh,
died and then I respawned and then couldn't
Just
get my
just sort of.
prawn suit back. So I just quit there. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. That's.
But that was like a year or more ago. So
I
I'm
do.
back into it, and I've since like played through on my Switch
Yeah.
and like gotten the ending and found all the interesting alien stuff.
I do. I think I remember that happening. I mean, I think I remember you talking about that, where you were just like, "Oh man!" Like you weren't even mad. You were just like disappointed.
Hmm.
it's just like ultimate defeatist just takes over when that game just fucks you over. You've spent like hours and hours working towards something, and then something completely stupid or unexpected happens, and then it just resets you back to square one, and you're like, you know what?
Well,
I think I've spent enough time on this game right now. I'm good.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and I mean, just I think earlier today doing a um quick run for materials and supplies for Jack. Excuse me, I experienced two glitches of when I spawned, like when I restarted the game,
Mhm.
and picked up where I left off because I had saved inside the base.
mhm.
I started off inside the base, but it was like I was still underwater,
Mhm.
and I was
That's
still because I had the Sea Glide and I could like go up and down inside the base, and the walls were still there and everything. And then I was like, did it break? And so I went to leave and look outside, and I entered back into the base.
Oh.
Only this time it was as it should be. So
Okay.
the game like
It doc.
created a ghost base
It Doctor
that was
Strange to
flooded,
you.
that is so
and then
bizarre.
I left but entered back into the actual base, and
Yes.
everything was fine. And then I was crafting at the crafting station, and then I turned around to go and put stuff in
Yeah.
uh, one of the lockers, and the character animation as it was like switching from the Sea Glide to putting it away to open up the thing, it like glitched out with the hands and stuff where they were like crossing over, and then like the Sea Glide was like floating in midair, but the animation just like failed, so it reverted back to holding the Sea Glide and didn't open up the
Oh
locker.
dear.
Oh my god.
I
Yikes.
don't
Subnautica
know.
really needs to optimize their coding just a little bit. Maybe they can take it over to Elon and be like, "Hey, can your Tesla engineers fix the coding for our game a little bit? I know you're working on Twitter right now, but
You mean
wouldn't
working
mind."
on firing half of Twitter, but
Oh no, yeah, they've already fired all like a good portion of them already. Like they're gone, they're out of here. They're probably working at McDonald's flipping burgers or some shit. I don't know. Probably for the best,
I
anyways.
hope not. I really.
Ugh.
I hope
Actually,
they're.
there's as AOC pointed out, there's actually a certain law. I think it's called Warren or something like that. A Warren law, where employers have to give a certain amount of notice, and if they don't, they are liable to pay them. I believe it's the thing stated that it was like full compensation and benefits. So
They probably gave him
potentially
the
there
2
could
weeks.
be I think it was supposed to be like 50 days or something like that.
Whoa!
with
They get
mass
50
layoffs.
days.
For mass layoffs. I think
Wow.
that's specifically what the law entails. So we'll see. There could be some class action lawsuits that are coming out of this, and I mean,
50 days. That sounds
I'd
an
be
awful
okay
lot
with that
longer than
because as
2 weeks.
as our friend Sam has put it, he's kind of a dork ass loser, and he's, at least in my opinion and some of my friends' opinions, he's kind of wasting his intelligence on being a jackass troll. So
I love it. I have always hated Twitter. It needed to be gutted from the inside out. Who better than to have Elon Musk do it?
I mean,
It's great.
let me. So I have had a different experience with Twitter than you, Morg, because my Twitter experience is specifically to promote and connect with people via this podcast, right? That is why I have a Twitter account. My Twitter account is at Hunters Hub Pod. You know, not to drop the thing, but it is for this show. I do some personal stuff on Twitter, but that's like me just being friendly with people, not like I don't have any people that I know face to face. You know what I mean? Like I've never met you guys
Yeah.
face to face, but both of you are connections through Twitter that eventually became on the show. Like everything I owe to the growth of this show is because of the platform of Twitter and possibly Reddit. Like Reddit got me started, and then Twitter kind of kept it going. Like that's how I was able to get a hold of Eric's. That's how I was had to get a hold of Exion. That's how I was able to get a Wolfie Melon, who did our theme. Like, there's for me it's been a very positive experience, but it's circumstantial. Also, there is the thing of like, I don't. It's kind of weird, but like this show, as much as I love doing it, and as much as I put some hard work into it sometimes, we haven't grown really at all. Like we are at the same numbers from where I started constantly. Now we grow over time as far as like a number of different listeners and stuff and listens on certain episodes and things. That does grow. But as far as like an average weekly listener count, we have been the same since I have started.
I'll be back.
Yeah. So
I was gonna go get a coffee. Now you're leaving. Why? No. Stay. Stay. Don't give me the mic to block me out. No. Come back. I need my caffeine. You know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go grab a coffee.
Okay. So
I am gonna give you a lovely tour of my house. Look at this. Oh, there's the kitchen. Oh,
it's a nice kitchen.
where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, yeah, there it is. There you are.
The thermos
I'll
of
grab
coffee.
you. A French press. Let's get a good view of that. Is that a good angle? Yes, yes. Oh yeah. Top up that zombie mug.
Need that.
A little more, yeah, there we go.
This is good audio quality.
Oh, were you able to get the coffee, like dribbling and everything?
Probably.
I hope so. Then we're gonna go into the kitchen, and we're gonna go. Ooh,
Sugar?
even better.
Cream?
Creamed honey. Ooh, lovely.
Oh, so it's both your cream
what's
and
it
your
called?
sugar in one.
Fridge. Ooh. We need
Milk?
cream
Gotcha.
that I got for $1.79 because Walmart sales. Lovely. Boom. Open the tab. Ooh. This is actually kind of a neat little invention that they came up with. It's like you don't even have to open the top. I mean, that is optional if you really wanted to, but honestly, screw lid, best design. Then there's no crevices or anything like that where the cream can get, clotted up in or whatever. There we go. Ooh. That's all used up. Wait, we need a spoon. Are there no spoons? Ooh,
This is
I
hilarious.
think there is one. Yes.
Just getting a tour
Yes,
of,
perfect.
of mixing coffee.
Yes, there we go. We need the honey first. Wait, where's the thingy? There it is. Not much left of there. Oh well. Mm. And the best part is, this is solid honey. It's the best kind of honey. True blue raw honey. Ooh. Unpasteurized. Beautiful stuff. Ooh. Look at that. Look at that zombie's face.
Yeah, a zombie coffee
Oh
cup.
yeah. He's having a great time. Ooh. Mm.
He kind of looks spaced out, not honestly. Like he doesn't know what kind of time he's having.
Caffeine deficiency, that's what I tell you, empty skull, no coffee in it, no substance. He just needs a little pick me up. There we go. Ooh. We're gonna put you in there. Ooh. Into the sink. Boom. Done. Ugh. There we go.
I knew today was going to be a bit of a circus, but I did not know the extent.
Beautiful crotch shot. But unfortunately, this is not OnlyFans, so I'm not getting paid for it. Alrighty.
So Morg, another thing that I was pleasantly surprised by today is the Diablo clone known as Minecraft Dungeons.
Ooh.
Holy cow. I do not like Minecraft. I am very vocal about this. I don't like the game, but the girls love it. So we came across Minecraft Dungeons for $20, and I was like, you know what? Let's try it out. There's a bunch of DLC for $20. So we bought the DLC because normally, even if I'm trying a game, I normally buy the DLC because I'm weird like that.
Huh.
So we got it, and it is a Diablo clone in every sense of the word. It is, you are an isometric hack and slash top down RPG. You don't have a skill tree. You don't have skills. It is all based on random enchantments to your items. When you level up, you get an enchantment token, and you enchant your items. Now, here's the crazy thing. You pick up a sword, right? And it's like any other RPG, you can find a better sword, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can salvage it on the spot because you're a Minecrafter, and you can craft things on the fly. So you can salvage it on the spot, and it pulls out those enchantment tokens, and you can reuse them.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So your leveling up feeds into the gear, which for me is a very interesting system for an RPG because you're not losing anything. Like you're not like
That's true.
so you find a sword, you're like, okay, I'm going to dump all my enchantments into this sword, right? And then you find a better sword, and any other RPG, you're like, oh, well, I guess I could use the better sword, but it's worse because it wouldn't have all the enchantments. Like you're in a catch-22. You're like, what's the better option?
Yeah.
Like I don't. Do I waste? And then what ends up happening with most of the time, like with me, do I just hoard all the enchantments until like super late end game, and then I don't even get that far, so I just hoarded a bunch of enchantments for no reason. I do this with both Titan Quest and Grim Dawn. Like I just never enchant anything because I don't feel like I can. So cut to Minecraft Dungeons, you can just disenchant it. No harm or foul. It turns into money. You get the tokens refunded, and you spend the tokens on the new item, and it gets its enchantments. And
that is perfect.
And the system is pretty interesting because it's like, hey, this level whatever item has a random enchantment that you get to pick between one or the other, and you get to pump as many enchantment tokens as you want into it to make the bonus better. And it's a flat system. 1 enchantment for level 1, 2 for level 2, so you got to have 3 total. And then I don't know what the level 4 is, level 3 is, and there's only 3 levels. And you can do this with your weapon, you have a bow, and you have an armor. And that's it. And you have some like
Wow.
item things. Like I have a fishing rod that pulls enemies in and stuns them, and I can enchant that if I want. Um, but yeah, it's all just focused on like a few pieces of gear, and you just enchant it. And I was like, I don't
Wow.
know. It's so simple, yet it feels so rewarding for leveling up because you're like, yeah, I can finally add this enchantment or make this enchantment better. Like Emery got this enchantment for a glaive she's using that when she kills things, it pops out a bee that comes out and plays with her. Like she's got like a bee minion. And yeah, it's just a fun, simple system. And I kind of like it. And it's also one thing I like Monster Hunter, a mission based system. You go on a mission. So you go on like a little, like, it's like, think of Diablo 2. It's like you go into the Den of Evil. Here's your little mission.
Yeah.
Go. Like, you're not like
Oh, that's
exploring.
perfect.
I'm okay with exploring vast open worlds and that kind of stuff. It's great for immersion. But for playing with the kids, mission based, 100% of the way. There are side dungeons in those missions and that kind of stuff. So you can explore and get new loot and stuff. But like,
Hmm.
we played a few missions and we were done. And they wanted to watch YouTube and do other things. So like, this game, legit good, in my opinion. And I thought I would
Wow.
never say that about this game, but I was like, this is better than some attempts at ARPGs that like I don't I don't know how else to put it. It's pretty good. Like I I didn't expect this at all. Um
It's a good mix of like the casual with like well, I guess you couldn't.
Here's-
I don't really think you could say it's competitive, but yeah, like it
No, it is.
it
It
has
has
enough of
it
an
has
edge, yeah.
leaderboards. You can connect your Microsoft account and like play with other people and like do challenges and tower runs and all sorts of crazy competitive stuff. Like you can make this competitive. And
Wow. Okay, I take that back then. It's got a good mix of competitive as well as like, like some I don't want to say casual elements to it, but
no,
no, yeah,
it's
it
simplified.
sounds like it's an ideal game.
I think it's simplified, and because it's something like that. Like there's a reason why I tend to go back and play Diablo 1 more than I play Diablo 2 or even Diablo 3 more. Like I don't go back. I
Mhm.
play. That's not fair. I do go back and play Diablo 3, but then when I play Diablo 3, it's because there's new content, right? It's not
Mhm.
that I
Yeah.
want to go relive the same stuff. I don't do that for Diablo 2. I did it with the remake, and for the very first time ever, my brother and I beat Hell mode. Like we never have beaten Bale in Hell mode up until the remake. But
Yeah.
um but that was us replaying the game because of the remake, and we had a lot of fun with it. We didn't stick with
Mhm.
it. Like we got done. We didn't try to rune farm. We didn't try to do all this stuff. Like we just played. I go back, and it's not every year at this point, but I think it was probably every other year at this point. I have played Diablo 1, take a warrior from start to finish to kill Diablo. Dust off my hands, come back a year or two later. Like, there is something about Diablo 1's simplicity and just playing the fun, like the game, seeing what loot you get, wiping your hands of it, and being done. Right?
Mhm.
And there's something that appeals to that sense of my brain with this Minecraft Dungeons. Of just like,
Yeah.
one and done, I'm good. I kind of like the idea of playing this game type forever. I do, because it is my favorite genre. However, as much as I love Titan Quest, and I talked about it a lot, I think you remember, there's
Mhm.
just there's a wall that I'm at, and I can't get past that wall without other people playing with me, and no one else is playing Titan Quest right now. Like it is not a thing. It is an old game, even though I can't get to the new content right now. I am pretty much stonewalled with my build on the Act 1? No, Act 3 boss. Uh
Mhm.
until so the last base game boss until I get into the expansion content. And even the
Right.
not even the new expansion content, the original expansion content, and I haven't got to the new. Eventually I might try again, but it would take like days of farming just to get past this one boss. Like it's just
Yeah. Yeah.
it felt like too much of a wall. So I'm not gonna be doing it anytime this year. But Minecraft Dungeons, I may play on my own without the girls. Like I may make a different character and play on my own. Like it
Yeah.
is possible. Like and
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all. So
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta actually catch up on Monster Hunter Sunbreak because I've actually invited like my roommate, um, not Ian, but the other one,
mhm.
and one of his friends to play Sunbreak. And I believe at the time when I encouraged them to start playing, I was still working on Ibushi. Um, and this was like I think maybe a couple of months ago that they started playing, and already like they're Dark Souls players. Like
Yeah.
they like Souls and Bloodborne and like a whole bunch of the other ones like Sekiro or whatever. Um, and they're also like avid Elden Ring players. So when they got into Monster Hunter, they absolutely loved it to the point where they have already surpassed me in Sunbreak, even though I've been like kind of playing it off and on again. And yeah, like I'm like, well, okay, well, how far are you? And they're like, oh yeah, we've already beaten Bushi a while ago. And I'm like, oh,
Thanks for
oh,
telling
that's
me.
nice. And they're like, yeah, we're working on Fury. We're working to get up to Furious Rajag now. And I'm like, wow,
Oh.
it only took you a couple of weeks, eh? And they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. We love this game. And I'm like, oh, that's good. I've still got to figure out how I'm going to be able to get far enough in this soloing it while also still having a full-time job, essentially. I mean, like, technically I'm part-time, but I mean, they give me 40 hours a week, so
Yeah.
it's essentially full-time, just no overtime hours. But yeah, if I can get up to, like, at least, like, Hunter rank 110, that'd be great. I still need to fight Risen Chameleos. I mean, I've already fought Gold
He
Rathian.
was
I think I still need to beat Silver Rathalos.
he was a difficult crown. He was what was I at? 47 to crown Risen?
Yeah, I think yeah, you did say that. Yeah, there was at least 40 of them that you beat.
Maybe 42. Did I it was a lot.
Uh,
It was it was more than I wanted to. I'll tell you that. Like I even did some of the afflicted stuff just to see if I could get those guild card awards because those are all I need. Is spend 100 coins, spend 1,000 guild coins or whatever the afflicted coins. That's it.
yeah,
Once
yeah.
I do that, I get all the achievements because the last achievement I have is get all the achievements. So
What? Oh my.
so I kind of took a break on it because well we're gonna move on to the next game that I've been playing, and I've been playing this pretty much exclusively now. I've been doing a
Yeah.
jigsaw puzzle and doing this
Ooh.
and this. Well, I do have one other game I want to talk about, um, but and I've been playing it very lightly. To keep in mind, very
Hmm.
lightly. But this game that I'm going to talk about, it's going to surprise you, Morg. Maybe not. Maybe you pay attention sometimes to what I play that's sort of off brand for me. But I've been playing the new Modern
Okay.
Warfare 2.
Really?
So,
Modern Warfare 2.
yeah, the new one that just came out with Bayonetta 3. I've touched Bayonetta 3 lightly. I only did like the first couple missions, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't there's something about just playing a game where I turn off my brain and I am just what I call viscerally reacting. And that's what Call of Duty is to me. I am not thinking
Yep.
about what I'm doing. I am pointing a gun and I am shooting it at pixels. And I am getting enjoyment of shooting more pixels than got shot at me. Like that
Yeah.
that is it. It is a simplicity thing. It's like I've had so much crazy life stuff going on with, the child support, not seeing the kids as much, like going through the court case and things. Like you have no idea how it just mentally exhausted I was, even though the court case stuff kind of went favorably and it didn't go as well as I wanted it to, but I lost a lot that I felt
Yeah.
in that battle both mentally and I feel as a
Mhm.
person. I lost a lot in
Yeah.
that fight. And I was just exhausted. And I was lightly interested because I occasionally do like playing Call of Duty. I've played it off and on since Black Ops 1 on the 360. Some coworkers
Mhm.
convinced me to get it and play with them. Even I played hardcore mode with them, like where you don't have a
Yeah.
HUD or anything. I don't play that now because screw that. I'm here to relax and not have a hardcore time. So
Yeah.
here I am playing the new Call of Duty, and here I am not only just playing it, but it's the pretty much the only thing I've been playing aside from like occasionally when I sit down at the computer and I have some time, like literally just before we started recording today, I didn't have enough time to play something else, so I just played a little bit of 2 Point Hospital, but then I play
Wow.
mostly Call of Duty. Like I was playing it like every day is that's what I've been doing. And it's been
Mhm.
fun because what I do, and now most people who are familiar with Call of Duty and they do this, they gold their guns, they do all the challenges, get gold on their guns, and then, you know, wreck face and kill noobs. Like it's just a thing. Well, they made the gold process infinitely easier in this game. Like
Oh no.
so and this is what I do too. So what I do, most people they'll take a weapon category and a gold and platinum, all of it, and then move on to another category, or they just like one category and they just do that. For me, I want to do this with every gun. So what I do is I start with assault rifles. I gold the first gun, and I've been doing it since I've been playing Call of Duty, like back in 2010. Like
Yeah.
platinum the assault rifle, not gold the assault rifle, gold the battle rifle, gold the shotgun, gold the SMG. Like I do one weapon at a time, and then I'm done with every category. The first weapon, then I go to the second weapon in every category, and the third weapon in every category. So here I was learning how to play again. People are really good, and I'm just like, I'm doing okay, right? Like I'm doing
Yeah.
the assault rifle's the first one. Is like I'm doing okay, and then I noticed, oh, you don't have to do 4 challenges before you get the gold challenge? Okay. Okay, sure. When it used to be like
Huh.
15, it used to be like 15 camos you would do before you got the gold challenge. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. So I'm learning how to play the assault rifle. I'm good. I'm good. All right. So then I move on to the battle rifle and I'm like, oh gosh, it's a 2-shot kill, but it's like bang, bang. It's very like slow.
Wow, that's slow.
Yeah. So I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm doing terrible. I'm getting terrible KDAs. I'm doing bad. But then like halfway through the process, I start picking it up and I start learning how to play that really well. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I do the SMG, right? Get to the SMG. I gold the battle rifle. I did really well, especially the last match to gold it. I'm just like, because all of them, when you have the gold challenge, the final thing is get 3 kills before you die 10 times is the gold challenge.
Okay.
Not a super tough thing to do. Not that I'm like super good at the game, but like, yeah, every once in a while I can get on a 3-kill streak and, you know, that's not even enough for a UAV. That's not even enough to get a kill streak. Like,
No.
just,
No.
so it's not that difficult.
So my question is, so if you were to get like 30 kills before you got KO'd, would that count towards?
Yes. Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so if you were able to do that, if you were able to get 30, you would have cleared it right then and there.
Yes. However, highly, highly improbable for me. I'm not that good to go 30-0 in a match. But the funny thing is, I started the SMG, and you know, it said like the battle assault rifle. Oh, I'm still, I'm brand new to the game, I'm still learning. Kind of did okay with the battle rifle, but it started picking up halfway through. SMG immediately out the gate, I'm getting like quadruple kills, like
Whoa.
going like 3 and like a ratio of the KD ratio of 3, like is one of the matches, which is the highest I've ever had in a Call of Duty game. I'm just like, what is going? Why are the SMGs so good? And it's because their rate of fire and the low kill time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, I'm doing good. I'm having fun with the challenge, right? I go to shotguns, and then shotguns blow all of it out of the water. My first match with a shotgun, right? 15-2.
Holy shit!
And I'm like,
Oh my god!
what is happening to me? Why am I doing so well? Well, one, I love shotguns. I mean, Doom installed that into me. As I'm sure you are aware, being a fellow classic Doom player, like
Yes.
the love for the double barrel is strong in us. But this isn't over. But like, I always having fun with it. And then you get to this challenge called the mounting challenge. Now I had to figure this out with the battle rifle. I didn't know what mounting was because I'm not like a Call of Duty pro.
Mm-hmm.
Aim down sights. You're familiar with that. Now, if you're near a corner or a low wall or some other thing, and you're aim down sights and you melee while aim down sights, you will mount your weapon onto that surface and it will no longer kick. You will no longer have a kick because you are mounted. So, this is something that I understood why they asked you to do it with a battle rifle. It's a little crappy because it works really well. It sounds really awesome, but you also are stationary. And there's one thing you don't want to be in Call of Duty is stationary. You want to keep moving.
No.
But you become stationary doing it. So it's hard to get kills while mounting. So the last challenge before the gold of the shotgun is mounted shotgun kills. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This is the most run and gun weapon I have played yet outside of the SMG. It's probably equal to the SMG of run and gun. And you want me to attach it to a wall and shoot someone. And you want me to do this
Oh my god.
20 times. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. So I do it.
20 times.
I do it. It takes me like 5-6 matches, but I do it. But like, here's the funny thing is, there was a match, and I was making fun of this with my brother. I'm mounted on a wall, waiting for people to come. No one comes for like a minute, right? I'm like, all right, no one's coming this way. I'm gonna go to a different spot, right? Run to the other spot, get a 5 kill on the way to the other spot because I can't mount during the process. Come around a corner, clunk. There's
no one there.
No one. Run to the next spot. This literally happened. Get another 5 kill. I am now 10-0. Clunk.
No one shows up.
No. This time someone comes up behind me with a knife and stabs me and I die.
Oh, joy.
So I'm like, this sucks. I really hate this. That was like the most frustrated I was doing so good and then like it was doing so bad. Okay, Morg. So, what if I told you I got this done, right?
Yep.
Go to the gold challenge. Super easy. 3 kills before deaths 10 times. Do it in 2 matches, maybe 3. So I'm good, right? Next category, which is what I'm currently working on, is light machine guns. So we're talking about the big, heavy ones that shoot like it has a 100-round clip, and 3 bullets will kill someone. Like,
wow.
Match 1, I have a 4.0 kill death ratio. I'm just like, how am I doing this? What is going on? I'm not even like imploring like the meta tactics for this game or anything. Like most people are running Ghost, and like that's where you can't be seen by the UAVs and stuff. I just have a rocket launcher. So every time the team says enemy UAV in the air, boom, no more UAV. It's just not a thing. Like that's just what I do. So like I've just been stuck playing this Call of Duty game because like it is the most like in comparison to Monster Hunter as far as like time in and enjoyment right now for me, Call of Duty is winning on the time in and enjoyment. Whereas
wow,
Monster Hunter is not. Now, Monster Hunter was for a long time like, yeah, it's awesome to do this fight, but I'm into the super end game stuff where I'm just doing afflicted stuff and I'm just getting like 6 or 7 coins, and I'm just like, okay, now I got to level up my Kuliyaku to 71, but he's 47. So like I'm not getting any bonus coins right now for doing this. So
Yeah.
it feels like this is the first time ever in Monster Hunter it's felt like an absolute shitty grind. Like I just hate it. So I haven't been playing it. Meanwhile, I go to Call of Duty, I play 45 minutes, and I come out feeling like the King of England. Like I'm just like I killed them all and it was fun. And I listened to a podcast while I was doing it. I wasn't even paying attention.
Oh my
like I don't get it. I don't like what happened to me. It may be because I'm old now and I just don't want to invest in something. I just want to relax sometimes. Like
Yeah, sometimes you just need a game that you can just go in and then just, just throw shit around and then you're just having a great time. Don't care about any investment or anything like that. You're just doing stuff just for the fun of it. And you know what? I feel like a lot of the time Monster Hunter kind of like isn't really about that.
No, it's all about the investment. You get like wrapped up in it. It's like and that's like Sasha isn't here to sort of like ping her like, hey, you need to get into this, because it is an enjoyable game. There is no doubt that there is an enjoyment in Monster Hunter, but it is an investment. You are wrapped up.
It is largely,
you are wrapped up into it. You are like, this is like you are putting time. Like, I mean, who has played a Monster Hunter game and enjoyed it? I'll put the qualifier there. That didn't put at least 100 hours into it. I don't know.
I can't think of anybody.
Right. Like
there isn't anybody.
And how many hours do you put into a game that is 100 hours? Most people are in and out under 25 hours, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I've played Call of Cthulhu, I don't know how many times, like I think maybe 3 now, at least 3. And I've sunk, let me see, I think like 10 hours per run. I mean, like, I think the first one was like maybe 20 hours because I wasn't sure of like what I was supposed to do, and there were some puzzles I had to figure out. But
you're under 50 hours. You're under
essentially, yeah.
You're under 50 hours in a game you love, and you're like, fine, but like, I like my brain is like, you love Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter's great, but then it's also like Monster Hunter takes a buttload of time and you don't want to spend that much time right now. Now granted, I do have a lot of free time, and at times now I don't have my kids as often, sorta. That actually hasn't played out yet, so that last weekend I didn't have them as a result of what's going on, but I did see them, and I've already got confirmation from the ex's husband that I'm going to get them next weekend as well. So I'm not going to have a weekend break. So like, I'm going to be busy with the kids, but like, I don't have as much. I have a lot of free time during the week too, but like we haven't had as much because of work and yada. Like we've had a lot of projects, so I haven't had as much free time as I normally do. But I still have a decent amount, and it's just been in Call of Duty because I don't feel like wrapping myself up in this afflicted nonsense with Monster Hunter. Now that being said, I really want to know what Monster Hunter 6 is right now. Like I am at the point where like, okay guys, you're still getting content for Sunbreak. I got it. I want to hear what the next one is. Like I want to have something to look forward to, because I'm not invested in whatever you got going on if there's not new monsters. Because I don't think the November update has monsters. I don't think it says that.
I don't know. Like it might. I mean, like I know that they've been talking about a couple of things. Is that they're upgrading weapons with Curious Crafting, I believe.
Yeah, there's been a lot of. Have you seen? No, you haven't been on Twitter. There's been a lot of feedback on. They've been posting some things on Twitter. A lot of people saying like, we don't care, to the Monster Hunter account of like, oh, you're going to do this, and then like a lot of people being like, so. Like,
really?
Yeah. Yeah, there was a whole thread of people just quote tweeting Monster Hunter and being like, yeah, I don't care. And I'm not going to lie, I'm in the same boat. Like, I won't say that on Twitter, but it's just like, look, I get what you're doing. I get you're making these minor tweaks, and you probably got something, in the back waiting for us, Monster Hunter team. But like, there's a reason, and I'm gonna say this, and right now, Sunbreak's not my top game of the year. It's just not. It's my favorite series, but it's not every year. It's not top in the games that I've been playing. I am not blown away by what I'm playing. I love what I'm playing, but it's not knocking me off my feet. It's being like, here's an enjoyable time for, I'm now at 1,078 hours or something into Rise / Sunbreak, right?
Wow.
Like, I'm in a
Holy crap.
lot of hours, right? But I'm coming out of this pseudo bitter. Not like, high, like, yeah, I put, this much hours into it. Like, sure.
Where it's like, oh, I've really been enjoying this. It's like, no, I've had to spend this much time actually grinding out for stuff that I, thought was going to be easy, but it ended up being like this just absolute slog fest.
Right. So,
Yeah.
like, I have enjoyed the Crown Hunt in I enjoy the Crown Hunt, and I have enjoyed it since World, right? I was not a Crown Hunter before World. World made it where it felt feasible, or I felt the drive to, essentially. Rise was okay. Once I got it figured out of what to do, I wish there was a better way to do Rise. So I didn't do 232 great boggies. Right? Because no one needs to fight 200 great boggies. No one ever does, but I did.
Yeah.
Like, what am I, like, I don't, it doesn't feel rewarding to do that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But, and the crown hunting part, I'm okay with. I did it in Sunbreak. I did it with Risen Camellius. I got a little tired of Risen Camellius about probably hunt 15. Like, so we're talking 27 hunts that I was just like checked out on, just doing, you know what I mean? Like the grind. And like 27 hunts in which I was actively listening to something else to keep myself entertained. Like,
yeah.
I don't like that for Monster Hunter. I want to be immersed. You know what I mean? Like, and to me, just speculation on your playtime, I think you've been light on it because you've been like, you've had a busier work schedule and put more time into Monster Hunter. I know this has been a thing with you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like,
and I'm not going to
weird. Like,
I'm not going to guilt you for properly prioritizing your time with real life and video games. You have more responsibilities now since that time too.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Yeah, that's true.
So nothing against you not putting as much time in, but I'm saying I think part of that also is I don't think it's grabbing you as much as it used to either.
Oh, you read me like a book. Damn it. Oh, it's very true. Like it has not grabbed me the same way as like previous Monster Hunter games have grabbed me. Like for example, I don't know. Like for Ultimate, like it was a good game for me, but when it started getting into like the Apex grind, and then finding myself in a situation where people are only ever like in like lobbies for like I think it was like Apex Diablos, and I'm like, this is probably the worst one for us to be doing because it spends most of its time underground anyways. So your Y stones are going to burn out before you even get a chance to be able to knock it out of its frenzied state. Why are we doing this? I'm not even getting like the Apex Apex stones from them in order to be able to get my augments for weapons. Let's not do this.
Right.
I think it was at that point that I actually lost interest in 4 Ultimate. Although there were the guild, like I think there were the guild quests, right?
Yes,
like
that was in 4
the
Ultimate.
ones that progressively upgraded. I never really understood how that worked. I never understood how the relic system worked for a lot of the armors and the weapons that you get from a lot of those guild quest missions.
It was RNG. It really was.
Yeah.
And it was better chance to
Yeah.
hire the guild card.
Yeah, and I don't think that that was something that it was not a concept that I grasped at the time. So when I was first playing it, I didn't really understand what the end game was, and so it was largely just about completing all of the quests that I had available to me, whether they were village or lobby quests. And that was really like the whole point of me even like playing at the time, was to just clear out all the quests. And
Yeah,
then,
that's
just say I completed the game.
That's my goal number 1 in Monster Hunter. And that hasn't been achieved in every Monster Hunter. I will say that. I have played every Monster Hunter through endgame, but I have never, not never. Most games I have not completed every quest. I think Freedom Unite, everything up until Freedom Unite I did. So Freedom Unite I did. But then 3 Ultimate I didn't. And I figured that out. Now, I might have, I thought I had soloed and beat Lucent Nargacuga and Abyssal Lagiacrus. I really thought I had. Going back and playing with Ace, I hadn't. I really hadn't. I thought I had. And I guess I never did, because they weren't completed. I had the same save file. I had the same Wii U. So it's not like... So it was just like a misremembrance. So I was just like, oh no. But, see, there's a few quests that I hadn't completed, right? And then 4 Ultimate... I certainly didn't. I know I didn't. I did. No. I did everything I could, I think. But like, there eventually I burn out, because then Generations came out, right? And then Generations, I certainly didn't. Now I did in Generations Ultimate with your help. You and Ace and my brother helped me complete Generations Ultimate, so that was achieved. Goal number 2 for me, in most other games, is crown hunting, which was not a thing until World. I did it all. World, I did everything, right? The only thing I didn't do is Extremeth, because I didn't feel it was worth it, right?
Nope, it really isn't.
I also don't think I defeated Ancient Leshen. I fought him. I don't think I beat him.
Ancient Leshen, I mean, like, it's okay if you like cheese. Like,
those are event quests. Those are event quests.
Yeah.
They're not on your normal,
really count.
Yeah, they're not on your checkmark list. So I did all those. I did the crown hunting. Rise and Sunbreak, I have done everything outside of... I've checkmarked all the Afflicted quests. I've checkmarked, up until recently, all the event quests. Like, I've done everything, right? And that's why I'm at the play hours that I am. But it's the Afflicted stuff, the Afflicted grind, and that one guild card award that is keeping me from completion. And I hope this doesn't end up... The completionist in me is saying this.
Yeah.
That I hope that this doesn't end up like... what was it? Kingdoms of Amalur, where I was 1 trophy away from a platinum.
And then you just like are like, nah, it's not worth it.
Well, you know what it was? It was beat the game on hard mode, and I played on normal mode. I had everything else, and I was like, I have to do a whole playthrough on hard mode? Oh no.
Oh, that's actually awful. That actually sounds terrible.
And I was like,
it's like,
nah. I haven't even played the DLC I was so excited about when it re-released. I didn't.
Yeah.
I liked it at the time. Like, I just, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, I for a lot of Monster Hunter games, like, even like, I think Freedom Unite is the only game that I've ever spent the most amount of time on, and that was mostly because I wasn't aware that there were any other Monster Hunter games, and I thought that was like the end-all be-all of Monster Hunter games because it was so incredibly niche. I'd never seen anybody else playing it, and the only few people that I did know who were playing it were like a few people, like a few friends that I had, like maybe 1 or 2. My brother got sick of it after we were farming Shogun Seator for the longest while, and I couldn't get a pincer, and I was like, I don't get it. I'm attacking the face. I should get the pincers. No, the pincers were the claws. That's
Mhm.
where the pincers were supposed to be. And you know what? I'm glad that they renamed it to Claw in the new games. I'm like, yay, thank you. I'm not confusing it with face pincers, which I guess are technically mandibles, but I mean, like, crab with mandibles doesn't make sense. Anyways, but yeah, and I think it was my cousins who got me into Monster Hunter initially, and they're like a 3.5 to 4 hour drive away. They live all the way in Spruce Grove. I'm not going to be going all the way up to Spruce Grove just so that way I can play locally with them, because this game does
Mhm.
not support any online features and I have no internet to begin with when I'm this age. So a lot of it I was just soloed, and I just spent 8,000 hours grinding every living shit out of it, you know, just doing everything I can in this game because I thought it was the only one that I was ever going to be able to play, because that's the only console I had at the time was a PSP. And then 3U rolls around, and then I'm playing the ever-living crap out of that. And then 4U comes, and I'm like, "Ooh, this is a great game. I like it a lot better than 3U, because in 3U, I'm like, hey, where's my boy Tigrex?
Yeah.
Where's Nargacuga? Oh, wait, there's Nargacuga, and there's Barioth. They can afford to have them, but no Tigrex? Huh, weird. Where's my Blangonga? And then, yeah, so I wasn't as heavily
Oh
invested in
man,
Generations 3
I
as,
am
as
sorely missing Blangonga. Like Blangonga is like is like a monster that I want to see come back so bad, and we just never do.
yeah, I know. Copper Blangonga. Ooh, I want some of those niche monsters to come back. Like even Vespoid Queen, I secretly enjoy coming, you know, having
I
come
like
back.
her.
It's like, oh, yeah, she gives you defense down, and she also makes it so that Vespoids are like magnetized to you. That's how aggressive they are. They want to hurt you, and you're also paralyzed on top of defense down. You're like, oh wow, this monster is actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Like, oh okay, I won't take it for granted. Like, she's subtly difficult because of all the little mechanics that she has that all add up to make her actually somewhat difficult. But if you can avoid all of her attacks, then you're fine. But I would like to see Vespoid Queen come back in later iterations, just because I don't know, like, I just don't like certain monsters being left behind, I guess. They took the time to bring back Lao Shan Lung, even though he's technically like a Gen 1 siege boss, and that doesn't
Yeah.
really translate very well in later generations, but I'm glad that they, you know.
Well, he was in Generations Ultimate. That's where he came
Yeah.
back. And Generations Ultimate
but
is
I mean,
an outlier.
Yeah, GU was definitely an outlier. And you know what? Honestly, I think that was probably one of my all-time favorites.
Mhm.
If we're talking like old school traditional classic. But I mean, it also had like a whole bunch of little features and like a whole bunch of flavor to it that makes it stand apart from a lot of the other games. Like it's a fighter game disguised as a hunting game, but it's a fighter game that I really, really enjoy. I mean, like, I like fighter games, so I mean, like, where a lot of people were like, this game is terrible because it's not a genuine hunting game, blah 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 blah. I'm like, this is like also like another one of my favorite genres of games. So I mean, like, I don't really see a problem with it because
Right.
I like fighting games. So the fact that, you know, it's not really a hunter game, but it's also like it's another genre game that I also really enjoy. I couldn't give a shit about other people's opinions. And the fact that they were able to bring back a lot of my favorite stuff, including White Fatalis, which is my all-time favorite Elder Dragon, and
Yeah.
Camelus, which is my second favorite. I'm like, booyah, I'm really enjoying this game. And I like the theory crafting in it also was really enjoyable because they had like 205 armor skills. 205! And
Oh,
that
yeah.
includes like all the
Some of
different
my favorite
variations.
ones
So I mean, like,
in there.
it was a great game, and so of course I was heavily invested in it. World, like base world, it had a lot of end game stuff in it that didn't really catch my eye, and unfortunately it gave me that same sense of lacking, like, unfulfillment in having to grind for stuff that I didn't really give a shit about, in the same way that you do about afflicted monsters, in the forms of Kulturoth and Arch-Tempered Elder Dragons. I really did not give a shit about any of it, and especially having to go in decoration grinding for decorations that had a 0.04% chance of drop. What a waste of time. That was when GU came around the corner, and I was looking at World being like, bye, bitch. And then I went off to, the better woman, like the one that, the girl next door, you have a crush for the last 10 years, gave up on because she was seeing somebody else. You hooked up with the bad bitch. You find out she's unstable and boring at the same time. And then the other girl comes around and it's like, oh, I secretly had a crush on you. And I'm like, whoo, shoo, slide over into her pants immediately.
Whoa there.
Wow.
The metaphor it exists, okay? We all have been there, or at least we like to think that we've been there. Anyways, but yeah, that's what I felt for when GU came around and World was, it was just completely unsatisfactory for me. And
now I will say
then
this:
Iceborne
was
Iceborne fixed a lot of
fire
that.
for the first couple months. Iceborne made me
Yeah.
the most angry at Monster Hunter, though, at the same time with the stupid clutch claw mechanics. Like,
Yeah.
the fact they made it harder to break parts. Like, I was just like, that is my favorite thing, and you are taking it away from me. Like, let me break Kushala's horns. Like, I talk about this all the time. The fact that there was a bug. The Kushala's horns were unbreakable until they patched them.
Yeah.
His
Yep,
health was
yep.
not. His health pool was smaller than the health pool for breaking his horns. It was impossible.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that was stupid. That was
Like-
really stupid. I mean, yeah.
it made me so angry.
Iceborne was like a mixed bag of shit. Like there was a lot of good to it, and there was also a lot of bad. The bad part is that I was not able to get any of the decorations I was looking for until Fatalis was fully out and it was completed, and they gave you the opportunity for you to
But
be able to craft the
boy,
decorations.
Yeah.
Like Guard Up and a bunch of the other ones that I was like, well, I'm never getting the drops for, so what is the point of me even investing time in this game? And then they're like, oh, by the way, we've got this update for you that allows you to be able to craft them. And I'm like, okay, that's exactly what I wanted.
a
Too
year
bad
ago.
it came too late.
Yeah.
It came like at the very end, the last update for the series. I could have had this at any time, but you
Yes.
decided that right at the very end of the series to give it to me.
Yeah.
Shit. And and they fixed Kulturoth, which I was also really happy about. That fixed a lot of the issues that I had with it. All the complaints I had about it. The AT, what was it? Yeah, the AT Namiel and Velkhana, mint.
Yeah.
They fixed the AT system. I was so happy about that. The other ATs, don't give a shit about. Garbage. Don't even think about it.
So let me say this. I feel that Icebreak awesome until you got to Endgame. Endgame Icebreak.
Yeah.
Icebreak. Iceborne. Sorry.
Yeah.
Iceborne.
Iceborne.
Iceborne, amazing up until you got to Endgame. Endgame felt like where I'm at right now with Sunbreak, right? Like it felt like a slog. The clutch claws getting in my way so much. The low decorations, like it felt like a slog in the end game of Iceborne. Then I quit Iceborne. Done. Was playing other things, right? Then we get Frostfang Bariath. And Frostfang Bariath, I say, is the biggest comeback that I've seen for Monster Hunter Endgame ever.
Yes.
Like Frostfang, I was like, oh, this is an amazing fight. Now, it's not too much different from the normal Bariath, but Frostfang was like, this is good. That led into a Latreon. And a Latreon was tough and controversial. And like, we were like, Morg, you were with me.
It was so good.
That's where
it was one of the best fights.
That's where we coined the term the Morg beam. Like,
yes,
a Latreon, the Morg beam. It was beautiful. We finally got it done, and a shout out to VT and Dagger for actually helping Chance and I get through a Latreon the first time. We got through a Latreon, and then there's no better send off for a Monster Hunter yet than the Fatalis. Iceborne Fatalis.
Yes, honestly. cream of the
super
crop. That was
good.
beautiful.
It wasn't
beautiful
as
fight.
hard. It wasn't as hard as Alatreon, but Iceborne's Fatalis was epic. They gave Fatalis.
It was excellent.
They gave Fatalis the treatment that Rathalos deserves. He's done being
Yes.
like done being a punching bag. We need to recognize him as the flagship of the series. Like Fatalis got that send off of like if we never see
I'd say they did for Fatalis what every monster deserves. A
Yes.
moment to
Fair.
shine.
fair,
Yes.
a
Yes.
moment to shine.
And they made it. They actually added story and lore to it that actually made it, justified to call it the Black Dragon, not just a Black Dragon, but the Black Dragon.
Yes.
The fact that they have in the storyline, Alatreon are coming in, to get away from it. I'm like, well, what the hell could be, more scary than an Alatreon, and something that could actually scare an Alatreon off to go into the den of the red dragon. Well, the black dragon, obviously, Fatalis isn't even like what the dragon itself is called. That's the historical event of what happens when quote unquote Fatalis comes into the picture. Like he's more of like a natural disaster. Like he's like a historical event.
Yes.
That
Yes.
says something about a monster of like his caliber. That's a beautiful send off. Thank you for making Fatalis more than just, than the derpy Gen 1. I'm going to walk around over here. Fireball. I'm going to walk around here. Fireball. Go up into the air. Fireball, fireball, fireball. Fly back down. Belly flop.
So
Walk over
my-
here.
my brain made a
Cross slap.
funny yet horrible joke
Uh-huh.
when you talked about Fatalis coming in and then Alatreon leaving. It's kind of funny that the Black Dragon is causing like the white flight of the monsters.
I see what you did there. That's
Yes, that's very true.
As
I'm
soon
also
as
happy-
that Black Dragon moved into town, we had to get out.
racist Alatreons, I guess.
Yep, nope, yep, it's
Causing
totally
the-
worth it.
Causing the property value of Castle Shrine to go down.
Well,
So-
I mean, it was due for maintenance at some point, but I mean, like, I guess, Fatalis being there, the landlord is kind of like, you're not paying right, buddy. You go ahead and you do your thing.
Unfortunately,
I'd like to. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, unfortunately, I feel like this isn't happening for Sunbreak. It is not getting that stellar support.
Yeah.
It is just not.
But I
Not
can
yet,
dream
no.
of the future. I was gonna say,
Mhm.
I'd love to see Lao Shan Lung and Shen Goran get a revamped battle.
Mm.
That would
And-
be so great.
Have it be where Shen Goran is like climbing all over the battlements that
Mhm.
you fight on, and
Like a
add,
real
like,
crab.
yeah, add like immense verticality to it. So instead of him just sort of lazily swinging his big claws at the wall, he's like climbing up and like destroying cannons and ballista and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be spooky. And you have to attack the legs in order for him to be able to fall over, and then he's vulnerable. So yeah, that would be really cool. Like if you're able to get like his legs all red and tender and whatever, he wouldn't use those
Mhm.
legs to climb up, or he would only be able to use, like however many legs have not been pulverized and turned red. That would
Mhm.
actually be a really cool concept. I'd like to see that.
And I think
Yeah.
it'd be cool to sort of have like similar to the Fatalis moment in Iceborne where you Dragonator him and then the music starts up. I think it
Yeah.
should be like where you wear it down and then you break its shell and then actually finish it off with the Dragonator.
Mm.
Yeah. That was another thing about Fatalis that actually made his fight like just perfect was the fact that they brought back Proof of a Hero, and they even gave you like the old school like end quest victory fanfare.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that hit the nostalgia button like so well.
It's true.
So yeah, maybe that's what Sunbreak needs, is that we need like something to like just brighten it up a little bit more.
So we
I
have
think
the
they
end
said
of
they're going to be doing variant monsters and harder monsters, I think was what the roadmap says. So I don't think we're going to see anything new. So I would say maybe for next game, next gen,
Yeah.
possibly see returns and revamps of old monsters. I'm still
Yeah.
waiting for my love Nursilla to come back. In a proper spooky revamp.
I do want to see, you weren't here for this, Ace, but I do want to see what the next Monster Hunter is. I am very eager to see what it is. I know we still have content coming. We still have the end of November, which, we're in November now, right? This would have been the first weekend in November, which is why we were going to do the quiz show. But I want to see what that end game content is for November, and we have something probably January, February next year. But I think that's probably going to be the last content we see, and then I want to see what's the next game. Like there's my patience for.
I think February, March might be when we get the announcement for the next game.
Probably. Yeah. And then we'll probably get it fall. We'll probably get it fall.
Yeah.
It's just my guess. Yeah. But that early year, if there's not like that last update, I hope it's really big and good, because early next year is stacked as far as games go.
Yeah.
Like, Octopath Traveler 2, that's getting full priority for me. Like
Octopath, I think Octopath is going to be a really, really solid game. I probably might pick it up, actually. I think you could get it for Switch, right? Yeah, it's a Switch game.
Octopath Traveler 1 used to be a Switch exclusive. It's now on everything else, I think. Because it is a Square Enix game. It is not Nintendo exclusive.
It's like
still excited for
D strat game, I think it is. Yeah, it's got like that Final Fantasy Tactics kind of feel to it.
No, that is
a
not,
lot more spruced up.
That is not Octopath. Octopath is a traditional JRPG. Triangle Strategy is what you're talking about. Triangle Strategy is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I confused games there for a minute.
Yeah, Triangle Strategy.
Anyway,
You'll have to look into.
Blinky.
Yeah, Blinky's back there. There's no blanket to lay under, so she's kind of mad at me. You can see.
I'm excited for Dead Space.
Of course.
Then I'm still waiting to see new
Callisto?
updates for.
Oh wait, no wait.
That I believe is early December.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see more info for the sequel to Senua's Sacrifice.
Yeah.
Since we've only gotten that cinematic trailer so far.
God of War is like in a week or two.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. God of War 2 is going to be really, really good, especially with the release of the new Fat Thor. Because, honestly, people can't seem to get enough of that Fat Thor, especially after, like, what was it, Avengers?
Mm-hmm.
After they brought him in there. Yeah. Honestly, it's a great way to cosplay. Especially, what was it? There was a lady, a pregnant lady, who went as Fat Thor.
That's funny.
It was quite funny.
Well, I would say the difference between MCU Thor and Ragnarok Thor is that you should be fucking afraid of Ragnarok Thor.
Yeah, because he's like big,
he's not one of those
scary, fat,
chiseled, sculpted MCU characters. He's like a fucking Maui character.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where he's got like that build strength.
Yes.
Yeah. He's got a power tummy is what he's got.
Yeah, it's those kinds of guys that you should be afraid of, because they'll probably rip your arms off or fold you in half like a chair.
Yeah. Like it's not round rolls fat. We're talking like he's got like a barrel tummy that could like deflect bullets kind of like Tummy.
Mhm.
Like that's like a power gut. Like yeah, he'll rip you to pieces. He's like the angry trucker that gets out of his vehicle, and then you don't deal with that. No, you just push on the gas and you just run out of there as fast as you can, because you don't deal with that kind of like
Mhm.
big boy strength.
For sure. Is there anything else that game wise that we've been looking forward to?
Ooh.
I am looking forward to, and Jack is looking forward to VR. We were kicking around getting like the Quest 2, but we were seeing mixed reviews for that. So I was like, how about we wait until PSVR 2, because that's, going to be a next gen, and it's
Mm-hmm.
based on all the tech specs and announcements I've seen around it. It's improved from the first generation. So I'm excited to actually experience some VR stuff.
Not me.
Other people apparently aren't.
I'm still
Like-
zero on VR. Don't care. Don't want it.
I don't know. I mean,
Fair enough.
there was some pretty good VR stuff back in the day. I mean, like Super Hot was pretty fun.
Sure, but you can play
what
Super
was
Hot
it?
without VR, and I have. It's good.
Some people are
Yeah.
less than excited, or they're just being critical of it because it's $50 more than the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that kind of
It's $50
tracks.
for a
I mean-
headset. I mean, that makes sense to me.
headset and controllers that track. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit more intensive than just a console and a controller.
I'm just excited to finally get a
also-
Wii.
But also, I mean, like, if we go back to last generation, the PS4
Mm-hmm.
was $300. The PS4 Pro was $500. 400, 500.
Yeah.
400.
Yeah, that checks
400.
out.
It was
Sometimes
400.
450, depending on the edition that you got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from all that I saw, PSVR was, depending on the package, ranged from 300 to 350. So it's not like it's new, something
No.
being the same price as the console.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm probably just going to get a Nintendo Wii and enjoy my boom blocks because I finally. Here, wait 1 second.
Boom blocks. That game keeps coming up for us, and boy, was that game. Oh, yeah. It even says
gonna say, you should
Steven
just-
Spielberg
I
on it.
have the game.
I
I was
still,
gonna say you should just check if it's
you know,
compatible or workable and get a Wii U.
Maybe. I mean, I could get a Wii U,
is
but I mean, like,
definitely one of the best consoles from Nintendo, I would say.
does it have
severely
motion
underrated.
controls? I mean, I never got a Wii U,
Yeah.
so
yeah,
I
it
mean,
does. It does.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can get the Motion Plus controllers for it too.
Yep.
So if you
Oh.
like the Wii style controllers, you can get those for it. But the actual like tablet does have gyro controls too. But like obviously the Wii U underrated and undermarketed and thus
So-
underperformed and failed.
So this is something
But-
that Jared and I fight about a lot at the game store sometimes. He thinks the Wii U
Yeah.
was a trash system. And he was like, him and I have arguments about it all the time. And he'll make fun of me for liking the Wii U. I was like, look at all the games that came to the Switch because the Wii U had such a good library and undersold. Like, look how many games were ported up. And not just like
Okay.
something like Mario Kart, like Pokken. Pokken didn't make any waves, but Pokken got a Switch port. Like,
Yeah, and Pokemon Tournament is
Um,
not a bad game. I mean, the
It's
storyline
amazing.
is very shallow, but the
Plus-
gameplay and the combat's fun.
I mean, it's a Pokemon and a
Plus,
fighting game.
if
Put
I-
those two together, your story's just dead.
Plus, if I remember the videos that I've watched, I think from Scott the Woz, at least one of them,
hmm
the Wii U was more powerful than the 360 and the PS3.
Yeah,
So,
it was.
That's
But
something.
but people compared it to the PS4 and the Xbox One because that's the generation it
Yeah.
was at. And whatever.
Mhm.
It was, but it people expected more out of it. That's what I will say this, and I unabashedly will say this. If you care about the system's power more than you care about the gameplay, I have zero respect for your opinion. I don't care. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
I also apply that standard to people who give more of a shit about the graphics of
that
the
is
game than the actual like content of the
that
game.
is exactly along the same lines of what I'm saying. Like, you know, like, and you could say like, oh, you just looks better. It's more immersive. Like, dude, immersion isn't everything.
Like,
Immersion
if you're
isn't.
looking for immersion and graphics, go watch a fucking movie, you tard. Like, what are you doing playing fucking video games?
Yeah.
Go be a film critic, you asshole.
Now, I'm not saying there
I'm here to
isn't.
play video games.
I'm not saying there isn't a space for immersive games, right? Like, there's a whole genre called the immersive sim, which is Sasha's favorite genre. Like, there's not really that's not really like, it's not a thing, but like at the same time, like I was telling like you earlier, when I'm playing Call of Duty, like, I'm not here doing this so I can be immersed. I'm turning off my brain. I don't want to be enveloped, immersed. I want to sit here and, like I said, viscerally react. Just, I am not thinking about life. I am not thinking about, like, troublesome things. I am not thinking politics. It is Pixel A shoots Pixel B, and Pixel B dies more than Pixel A, and I don't care. That's all. That is my goal.
I mean,
like,
case in point, I mean, have you seen the, what I would say is essentially a demake of Bloodborne?
yes, I've seen that. Yeah,
I've seen the demakes of
There's-
Bloodborne. Yeah, they're really funny. They're
There's a
I
place
think it's
for
for
all
PS1.
different types of games and all different types of graphics in games. And
right.
I mean,
I'd
I'd like to see the full game brought in those graphics, but I understand that that's probably exceptionally time consuming to de-render and make sprites and stuff like that.
like,
So
just think about stuff. Okay, so like in comparison, like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, all those kind of games that people are like graphics. Let's say the latest one, Elden Ring, right? Now, granted, From Software games, we're not talking about the top of the line graphics unless we're talking about the new Demon Souls, right? Like, obviously they have jank. They've always had jank, and people say that. But let's, for comparison's sake, right? How much you want to bet we're going to find more people that like Hollow Knight, right?
Yeah. Hollow Knight's up there.
How many people
Definitely.
actually really like games like Blasphemous, which is very much a 2D Dark Souls with sprite graphics, like,
or Dead Cells.
or Dead Cells. I don't like Dead Cells, but yes,
Yeah.
Dead Cells.
I like Dead Cells.
I know.
It's fun.
Both of you do. I know.
Dead Cells is fun, yeah.
I know. Morg is the one that suggested it to me, and I played it for like an hour, and I was like, no.
It's a good roguelike.
I've still got my
Metroidvania.
collector's edition with the statue of the guy standing triumphantly with his frying pan.
Mm-hmm. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I don't know. I'm starting to think I don't like roguelikes that much. Even though I just bought and started one today. Like, I just I don't know.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah. But no, yeah.
didn't-
No, you make a very good point. It's like, the gameplay, like, the enjoyment of the game is what's most important. The graphics comes afterwards. The storyline comes afterwards. The latest edition of, like, console or whatever, just for the sake of Vanity Fair and, status symboling and whatever, that kind of bullshit of, like, I have more money than you, that shit comes secondary. That
I wouldn't even put it on the list. It's not even on the secondary, third, or fourth.
That alone right there, the fact that I made an $800 investment into the console and like the game library in this year alone should tell you what kind of a gamer I am. I care about collecting and enjoying, retro games and just, being able to invest in stuff for, that was around the time of my childhood that I actually never got a chance to invest in because my family is poor. So, yay, I get to have a childhood at the age of 30. But the point here being is that, at least I get to enjoy my games, whereas most people are kind of, hung up on, well, this immaterial garbage that doesn't even really matter for games that they're probably going to invest maybe a couple of hours, like maybe 20 to 100, and then they're just going to drop the game.
Right.
Because the next one's going to be coming out the next year, and they're going to have to spend another $100, and then another $100, and then another $100 on the next title over and over and over
Some
again.
people
Because
some people are okay with
their
that.
enjoyment of games is shallow.
I get that, and some people are okay with them being engaged at that level, and whatever, right? Like, to each their own. That's not really the problem. It's just, don't come at me with this game's better because of graphics, right? Like, just don't.
No,
That's not.
no,
You
that's
don't.
not a valid argument.
No, it's not, and never will be. I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics is still an amazing game, and it's from like what, 98, 97?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I mean, if we're talking
Doom-
video games, like if
Doom
we're talking
2.
like the Yeah.
most amazing game ever, 94. Like,
mm-hmm,
I still actively watch that content.
if people want the best digital game, it is online chess. Hands down. Sorry. There you go. It wins. It wins. It's got clean graphics,
I don't agree, but
online
okay.
play,
I get where you're coming from.
and there's even a leaderboard. There's ladder. You have to try and get, it's extremely competitive. If you're looking for a competitive online scene, go for fucking chess. Chess is the king of games, It's yes. And it never goes out of style. It's been around for over 200 years. And it's still being played on like the highest professional level. What else can I say? I mean, that's a game that nobody's ever going to beat. Best video game ever. Chess. Done deal. End of story. Best game of all time. I'm actually going to probably put that on my list. I'm sorry for Twan. It's going on the list.
You can. That is, your list is your list, man.
Yeah. Oh, I kind of feel a little leery too because, oh, I'm gonna copy this link and I'm gonna share it to you guys anyways because yeah, you guys are gonna think I'm absolutely insane, but you know what? I'm gonna put it in the pod chat anyways. Since I'm talking about chess, there is a site that actually shows stuff that you can purchase, and that way you can play online chess with a physical board.
Yeah, you talked about this. Yeah.
I desperately want that chess board because it has a built-in AI system that you can play against. It has a helper system, so in that way it can teach you the good principles and fundamentals of very strong strategy in chess. Being able to set up a really good opening and figuring out your end game plan in order to be able to better strategize against players, and it also allows you to be able to play on sites, so you can actually get your Elo up and you can play against people who are in online chess using that board hooked up to your account and being able to play with a physical chessboard against somebody who is literally clicking mouse and keyboard on their screen. It's a phenomenal board. It's beautifully well crafted, and it's just I
still wanna-
desperately want it.
I still want to get into D&D and then have a session where I use both the Mimic Funko Pop that I have as the Mimic, and then use the giant, well, prospectively giant gelatinous cube that's like 6 or 7 inches tall, and just like slam that down on the board and be like, "Sucker, you're dead."
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Hello.
I mean, Fortuan, I shared with you my idea of just like having a gelatinous cube that is just the size of the room that the character enters into,
So
that they just get caught and die immediately.
So funny story. So I am playing in 2 campaigns. We have one that's every other Friday that my brother DMs, and then we have one that is every Thursday that Morg, you played with him a little bit Zweef. He was our monk in the
Mm.
campaign that you were you were in Chub
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I remember that.
Zweef is a really good DM. I met him through our DMing community that I also met Pan on. Zweef, we have this room that we were described has a giant pit with a man standing with his sword raised like this, and we missed all sorts of checks and perceptions that he's actually, and I know logically, and I figured it out pretty quickly, that he is inside of a gelatinous cube being digested, but we didn't make the spot checks to see it. So we just thought he was just down there. So what we did is we threw a rock, and the rock just sat on top. And we're like, oh, there's some sort of magical field there. We don't want to mess with that. So it's funny because we're still actively going back and forth through this room in this dungeon. And every time we're just like,
no.
we see him decay a little bit more inside of the cube. And we're just like, I guess he's just dying because he's not moving. Hey, you want to get out of there? No response. Didn't think so. Like, we just keep going. Like,
Oh my god.
we've completely subverted this fight, and Zweef thinks it's hilarious. This is where I'm playing the Diggy Hole Dwarf, where I'm a dwarf and I'm digging hole, diggy hole. Yeah, this is the Diggy Hole Dwarf, where digging a hole has saved our campaign 3 times. I have dug a hole.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So there's one last game that I wanted to talk about tonight, and I mentioned it a little bit before I was talking about the Call of Duty. I've just been playing Call of Duty, but then I've also been playing this sparingly on my own time. And when I say sparingly is like I am literally in front of the computer waiting for like A, the podcast, B, to play D&D or something, and I boot up this game called 2 Point Hospital. And what it is, it's a hospital management game. Now, that doesn't sound like super interesting or like whatever. Management games are fine, yada yada. The thing that gets me about 2 Point Hospital and games like this is the sense of humor. And I feel that we need more humorous games. Games that are meant to be funny. Because 2 Point Hospital is meant to be funny. It is a hospital simulator for sure. Yes, you are trying to facilitate a profit of curing patients and whatnot. That is the gameplay loop. But lightheaded syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm eventually looking to get the new Tales from the Borderlands game.
Sure. I mean, that is comedic, yeah.
I've been seeing clips from that, namely the scene where 2 soldiers or police cops, whatever they are, bust into a room and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
and it cuts to a character who is wheelchair bound and she's just like, no. And then they're like trying to have command over the situation. There's a robot who's like already kneeling on a table and who is like sort of complying, and then it cuts again to the 2 soldiers, and they start like having banter with each other, where they're like, "Hey, you're really good. You did really good there. Oh, thank you. I love you. Oh, I love you too."
That's funny.
It's just really silly.
Yeah.
So I'm
Oh
wanting
my
to play
God.
the game just for that.
Sure.
And I watched my
Yeah.
former roommate play the first Tales from the Borderlands, and that was pretty funny and
Yeah.
as well.
And that's what I do
Mhm.
like about the Borderlands stuff is they are humorous. I want to see more humorous games because, like I said, 2 Point Hospital. What do you think lightheadedness is in 2 Point Hospital? What do you think that ailment is?
I would have just assumed it would be like a dizzy spell or, like
Nope.
fatigue.
Nope. They literally have a light bulb for a head.
All right.
They go into a special
likely.
machine. I'm not kidding. They go into a special machine you have to have a specific room for that a doctor operates, where it grabs this claw and it screws off their light bulb head, disposes of the light bulb, like makes an electronic generic head, fabricates it, and then screws on their human head, and they're cured.
All right then.
And
So going for like
Play on
Police
words.
Squad level sight gags.
it's going for, and the comedic thing is like you also have an announcer going off, right? So this announcer is like, patients, please remember that we do have bathroom facilities, and that the floors are not acceptable places to do, like, just like one-liners and stuff like that, just like throughout the whole game you're playing. I love it. Like the original one, so I'm not very far in the game. I'm only on level 1, and I'm trying to get it to a 3-star hospital, which is the highest star. And I'm only at 1. So you get like, you go from 0 to 1, and then 1 to 2 and 3. So one of the things in the old version of this game, which is Theme Hospital, which is this is a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital, is they used to have Bigfoot syndrome. And the cure for that, because they come in, they look like Bigfoot, right? They're just like full hairy, like nothing like going on. They would go in and they would take a picture of them. They would be all blurry and stuff, and then they would come
My
out through
God.
come through a screen, and they look like a normal person because Bigfoot isn't real. So like they would have to
Oh,
take
no.
they would take off their Bigfoot costume and have just to admit they weren't real. Like it was just like not a thing. But a psychologist had to do it. It was like really funny stuff like that. There was one that was Cousin It syndrome, which they were just like full head of hair, and they would go into the pharmacy and they would drink this hair loss solution, and their hair would fall out, and they'd have like a normal head, and they'd be like, "Here's a hat," and they put a hat on because they were bald now, and then like they would go out.
So if you like puns and sight gags and stuff like that, I would highly recommend you look up,
gadgets.
or if
Yeah.
you can buy it anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
buy Police Squad. It is the limited TV series with Leslie Nielsen that
Oh, yeah.
predated The Naked Gun, because they have so many different like puns and sight gags. In one of the episodes, with like the pre-sting, where they have the crime that sets up the episode. There are two characters, and at like a birthday party, and the guy goes to the girl and he's like, "Hey, can we talk for a minute? Let's go to the Japanese garden." They walk outside. It's a bunch of Japanese people standing in pots.
Oh gosh.
Another one, they Leslie Nielsen's character, Frank Drebin, is
Uh-huh.
like, "We'll have to wait for the tow truck, or watch out for the tow truck as it goes by," and it's literally a giant
Toe. Yeah.
And then that same episode, as they're about to walk into the bank that got robbed, the paramedics are bringing out a body on a stretcher, but the stretcher is like unreasonably long.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 100 feet long and just keeps going.
Because it keeps stretching. Oh my God.
And then one of the running gags too is like someone will offer him a cigarette and be like, "Cigarette?" And he'll just respond, "Yes, I know."
See,
Cigarette? Yes,
did-
it is.
I see. I do enjoy this kind of humor, which is why I love this game. This like the old series. So I didn't get to see a lot of the new, like, but all the illnesses are jokes. Like every single one. Like the lightheadedness is the one that's easy to see. There's some other things that come like bogwarts. I think is or bogwarts or something like that. It's not supposed to be like Hogwarts, but it's bogwarts or something like that. I didn't even read the description of it because I haven't been able to play it too much. But it just makes me want to see more games that are based on comedy than other things, because we see that a lot in movies and TV shows. I mean, like, heck, there's a whole genre of stand-up comedy, right? Like, that's a thing. It's on TV, YouTube,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. And comedy is like the one area that games seems to lack. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many action, drama, like all these other genres of games, but we have like so few comedy games. Like they exist, right? Like Borderlands is a good example of one that exists. Wonderlands, Borderlands, like they do a good job. Um, you've got this game, but like a lot of other stuff is just like takes itself too seriously at times, or
Mhm.
takes itself, or it's just a Expendables action equivalent like Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Now,
And I was gonna say one of my other favorite running gags from Police Squad is when they do the episode intro
hmm
and they have like the intro credits. Um, they'll also say special guest star so and so, and on one of them it's William Shatner. But the running the running gag is that they all get killed in the intro scene after they're announced, and then they don't appear in the episode after that.
Yeah.
Also, the announcer will then, uh, like declare what the title of the episode is, but the text will be like something completely unrelated.
Gotcha. I got it. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I definitely highly recommend it if you have not watched that
Okay.
already.
I probably will at some point. I mean, it fits in line with me watching right after. Actually, no. It's gonna wait a while because so I got to finish Blue Blood still. I'm still, it's got 13 seasons and I'm in season 8 right now. But there's a new season of Dragon Prince, and Dragon Prince is one of my favorite shows. So I gotta see the new season of Dragon Prince.
hmm
Primal was there until season 2. Season 2 really bummed me out.
Yeah, I
we
heard
talked
that there
about
was
that.
something that happens at the in the finale of season 2 that a lot of people did not like, and I'm not sure what it is. I'm probably going to have to investigate it a little bit further before I make a final decision. But
Well, I've talked about it a couple times. That feels rapey to me. It really does. Like,
yeah,
Feels-
I'll find out about it later. Mm.
like I'm still disgusted thinking about it just right now. Like, just Ace. I understand his point of view where he doesn't feel it's that way. He feels it's rather consensual, but like I didn't. I don't know. It didn't come across that way for me personally.
Yeah. Anyways, I think the only
In a
thing that
similar sense, I'd
Yeah.
say it's consensual, like when someone, I mean, sort of, I guess it's guiltier the way with this scenario, but like when someone's terminal
Yeah.
or like a teenager is like terminal, and then their significant other has sex with them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically a similar situation. So
It is. It is.
Wait a minute.
However, they have the ability to say no, and this guy doesn't.
I mean, I would say it's clear that he wanted that and was longing for it for
I didn't see.
a long time.
I got you. I got you. But like, he physically can't say no. He doesn't know the word no.
I know. I know. I would say it's a gray area.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that pretty much gives me all the information I need to know about that. I'm able to deduce that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of deductions, there's actually a Sherlock Holmes game that
Yeah. I saw you put that in the
recently
chat.
caught my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting. It's Sherlock Holmes: The Awakened. It
You
looks like a thriller mystery game. I'm like, yay!
you will have to tell me more how this works out, because you're going to be my guinea pig on this, because I love the gameplay of L.A. Noire. where you're like figuring out and interviewing and finding clues. I love being the detective. I want another game like that. I don't want another game with Detective Cole or some other asshole like him, because him as a character I hate. I don't want to see the fall of a flawed character. I don't care how much Rockstar thinks flawed characters are cool and realistic. I don't care.
Is that from L.A. Noire?
Yeah, LA Noire.
Well,
I
Well,
mean, you could do like the Heavy Rain and have the bad cop be just a bad cop, and then the character screams Sean over and over again in a glitch.
But did you actually
my God.
investigate things and get them wrong or right in Heavy Rain, or was it all just linear? I was
haven't played.
Okay.
I haven't played Heavy Rain, but I've seen the meme clip of the glitch where, in like the final scene, the main character, the audio gets busted or the cue gets busted, and the character's just, you're able to spam it, and the character just over and over again is screaming, "Shut!
Yeah.
Shut!" So like, in dramatic scenes where like there's actually supposed to be like audio exchange, you could just
this is
scream
some guy
Sean.
saying Sean, Sean, Sean over and over and over again.
Like there's like a whole dramatic scene where like the shady cop is like chasing a girl along like a crane, and like she's almost being thrown off and whatnot and blah blah blah, and they finally get down to ground level, and they like come around a corner, like the camera pans, and it's him, and he just the player just has him immediately shut. I can send you the clip. It's hilarious.
Yes, we're gonna have to see this.
So, did you play L.A. Noire, Ace?
I've not, but I've seen gameplay of it.
So, you get to be a full detective. You get to start with the case, look for clues, interview people, call them out on lies, or determine if they're telling the truth or not. And you're kind of graded at the end how close you were. I like that. I like that a lot. It was wrapped in a shitty burrito. Like, just a shit burrito of a game. Like, I just hate Detective Cole as a character so much that, like, I just want that gameplay and have it not be him or something, and take out the driving stuff in between. Actually, you can skip the driving, because you had, like, Grand Theft Auto driving in between. Except you were the cop, so you didn't get in trouble. But, like, you could get in trouble.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to have a game sort of like the Zodiac movie, where you can play either as like the cop or a reporter who's investigating.
Right. It was
like a murderer or
it was
a serial killer.
the being a detective. Like, I don't want to be a corrupt cop. I don't want. We have enough of that. I want to be a good, upstanding citizen trying to bring justice. And however, Sherlock Holmes Awakening, you do get to do the investigations and figure things out, let me know, Morg, and I will probably jump in. If it is just like a story thing that's very linear, I'm probably not that interested. But
I hate to break the news to you, but I mean, like, throughout all of the books and like even the TV series, like multiple different types of TV series that have been around, Sherlock Holmes has been referenced as being a drug addict who has been constantly chasing the dragon. And the reason for that being is because he's just so damn intelligent that he's bored when he doesn't have a case, and he needs something to stimulate him in order for him to be able to just keep going forward without being bored out of his mind.
Yeah, I understand.
Doesn't translate. Yeah,
I'm not that off put by that aspect. The aspect that was Detective Cole was basically just, he's just an asshole. Like, he is a character, is just an asshole, and then he tries to play it off like he's an upstanding guy a lot of the time, and he's just not.
Whereas like Sherlock Holmes, he knows he's got problems, but he doesn't give a shit, and he'll call people out on theirs.
Yeah,
because he's a Giga Chad, and he just owns up to the fact that he's got problems, but at least they're ones that he can resolve, and everybody else has their own that they can't fix.
Yeah.
Like, for the simple fact that, like, the inspectors and the police department, like Scotland Yard, they can't solve half of their own mysteries. He's always in there, giving them the quick nudge or going out of his way to solve it himself and then being like, okay, yeah, here's my case and here's all the evidence. I put it all in a portfolio for you. There you go. There's your man. Don't have to worry about it. I'm not even going to charge you for this one.
But keep me posted, because I've never been a huge Sherlock fan, but I do like the line of work that Sherlock is in. So if it's a good game,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes, like an actual proper gentleman detective rather than, like a cop on the beat, beating the shit out of people, roughhousing, asking questions, whatever, putting people under the lights.
There
crappy
wasn't
cop shit.
There wasn't any of that in LA Noire. It was actually pretty, as far as police work goes, pretty upstanding stuff in LA Noire. It's just him as a character, like
yeah.
him,
He
his
actually,
personality.
Yeah, like he actually has what's the word I'm looking for? Like he has he kind of I don't know how to describe Sherlock Holmes. Like he has a certain stoic, very calm and resolute, and he has a very intelligent and good understanding of like the situation and the scenario, and he doesn't lose control of himself kind of aspect
Actually,
to him, which I like.
You guys need to look up. I think it is just called like Asshole Detective Cole clips.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do a question wrong on an like a interviewee or whatever, or a suspect or something, he can go from 0 to 60 on aggressiveness out of nowhere. There's this really funny clip of him questioning this 9-year-old girl, and he's like really sweet and like trying to be like, hey, what's going on? Like trying to be soothing and stuff. And then he immediately accuses her of murder and yells at her. He's like, all right, little girl, we're not playing games here. You're going to the jail. You understand? Like, it's completely 100% on her. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's hilarious when you mess up in that game.
Here it is. Cole Phelps, professional asshole.
Yep.
Oh, this is going to be good. I know it.
It reminds me of Detroit Become Human, because playing as Connor, who's essentially like a police officer
Yeah.
robot, you can be an asshole too. And I remember from the Game Grumps playthrough where they do the interrogation of one of the deviant androids, they had the joke of like, because it tells you that if you stress out the android too much, it'll self-destruct. And they did the whole like bad cop. They joked about doing the whole bad cop thing of like, why did you kill
him? I might need to watch that series that they did then.
Oh my god!
I got back into watching them some. Not a ton. Like every once in a while, I'll watch what they do, but like eventually, I do need to watch some more of their stuff. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? We've been going quite a bit actually today. I think
I'm surprised that we were able to go for 3 hours.
my absence and return fostered that, I would say.
Partially. I mean, you didn't have to hear my 30-minute Call of Duty story, because boy, I have been slaying it in Call of Duty, and I don't understand, because I am not like a tryhard in that game, but it's been fun.
Oh, just in like the multiplayer?
Yeah.
Trying to get the gold ranking for all your weapons. That's crazy.
That's something I've always tried to do, but I've never actually achieved. You know what I mean? Like, I would get it for like a gun and a category, and that'd be done. Like, I would never play again. I'd only play like a month or two, and I'd be done. But yeah, this time it sounds like I'm gonna have it pretty close, or at least a ways. Like, could be. So next week, hopefully we can do the quiz. And I will have everything done. Like I said, I'm not entirely done. Are you out next week?
I think I will have to be.
Okay.
Just because with my new work schedule, I finish at 5 p.m. my time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also have my mom and little brother coming to visit and see
Alexander.
Grandson.
Yeah.
And nephew. So that'll probably run pretty close, and I don't want to just disappear on them. So
Fair
if you
enough.
guys want to do the quiz without me, that is completely fine too.
We
Okay.
can hold off on another week. Like I don't. We could like I want to try to get all of us in. That's it's really meant to
Yeah.
have. It's meant to have 3 people, which is why I was okay postponing for Sasha. So maybe 2 weeks from now, and we'll figure out something else for next week.
Yep. Yep.
Maybe do more of the Monster Hunter stuff since we did one of
Yeah.
them without Morg. We can do one without it. Maybe I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. There might be
Yeah.
some stuff to talk about because no, nothing big's coming out next weekend. That's all card game stuff for me. So we'll figure it out.
Mhm.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching, listening. Thanks for sticking around for our very rambling episode. As always, thank you Morg and Ace for coming on, and follow us at Hunters Hub Pod on Twitter and Twitch, and you can see all the updates for the show and when we're going live, and yada yada. And then also, you can see our postings for the episodes. These are posted on SoundCloud originally, but they are appearing on iTunes and Spotify, and there's an RSS feed. So be sure to listen. And have a good night, everyone. If you want to follow Ace, it's at Ace Badger Gaming. And if you want to talk to Morg or Sasha, we're in the Discord. You're always welcome to do that. You can ask me or Ace for the Discord link. You can also search us out too on Discord. It's just Hunters Hub. Yeah, just Hunters Hub on Discord. You'll see our little sign, little white square with a black, red. Wow, all the wrong colors. A brown with black lettering sign that says Hunters Hub.
Mhm.
It's got a quest ticket knife to it. Yeah,
It literally looks like a signpost for a pub.
yeah, that's what I wanted when I asked the artist to do it years ago, 5 years ago now. It feels like no.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2017 is October 2017. So we've had our 5-year anniversary. Uh-oh. Did Alexander do something?
He's just doing, I think it's like the active sleeping or whatever. So like
Just
his little
Total
eyes have just
zonked.
been like flitting open, and he's just like
looks like he's
so
been
just like,
babies do the funniest thing. I told you that my daughter, when she was a baby, she used to sit like this
mhm.
on her stomach. Her hand would be up like this, and she'd be like she's thinking about everything all the time.
Oh my
So
god.
I made a meme out of her. It's like I don't always drink milk, but when I do, it's tres leches. So,
Nice.
anyways, thank you guys all for listening, and we'll catch you next week. And Ace will be here in 2 weeks, and then we'll probably do the quiz then. So,
Mm-hmm.
but we got to do it sometime this month. Like if that's probably the furthest we can delay it out without getting close to Thanksgiving or something. Which,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I'm excited to meet this. I'm excited to meet Ixion and then maybe
Yeah.
discuss
We
a
don't-
couple of the topics.
we don't know
around
when
some
that's
of his
going to be
videos.
yet. But
Mhm.
but he is definitely interested in coming on. I've talked to him a couple times.
Ooh.
He is 100% interested.
Yay!
So
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm excited.
Again, thanks everyone for listening, and we'll catch you next week. See ya.
Take care, everyone.